Chapter 349. The old goat rambled on about how Ling Xiao rose to power and became a supreme being. Of course, there was no lack of self-praise, shamelessly claiming that he was the life mentor of the heaven-devouring supreme. Ling Xiao smiled warmly and did not interrupt him. He was like an old friend who had not seen each other for a long time. He drank the drunken immortal wine and enjoyed the cool breeze on the mountain peak. I am the elder brother of the devouring heaven supreme. If I did not teach him the devouring heaven secret skill, how could he become the most powerful person in the world? Your master is also very respectful to me, the old goat said proudly. Oh, you are so powerful? Why aren't you in the 10 titled supreme beings? I've never heard of the heaven-devouring great emperor before. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Cough cough. The old goat's expression froze with an unnatural glint in his eyes. He became angry out of humiliation. I don't care about fame. Even though I taught the heaven-devouring supreme, I'm used to being free and unrestrained. I don't care about this empty reputation. Ling Xiao snickered in his heart. In his previous life, this old goat loved to ambush others and steal treasures from ancient tombs. Almost all of the famous sacred grounds had been visited by this old goat. Everyone hated it to the bone. It could be said that the old goat's reputation was in tatters. However, Ling Xiao did not expose him. Instead, he asked softly, "How did my master die? What happened after he died?" Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with anticipation. Perhaps he could get some information about Jin Sei from the old goat. Your master was a heaven-warping martial genius, a peerless hero who suppressed his peers. He was the most dazzling person 10,000 years ago. However, he did not know who he was and was ambushed and killed by the second-ranked Supreme True Dragon. I told him long ago that the Supreme True Dragon was not a good person, but he did not listen to me. The old goat gulped down a mouthful of wine, his eyes revealing a hint of sadness and anger. Ling Xiao smiled bitterly. The old mountain goat was not lying about this. In his previous life, he trusted the Supreme True Dragon very much and had always treated him as a brother. However, the old mountain goat did not like the Supreme True Dragon and even fought with him. It was because Ling Xiao trusted the Supreme True Dragon too much that the old goat ran to the savage demon territory in anger. That was why the Supreme True Dragon ambushed Ling Xiao. Later on, I heard that your master was ambushed and killed by that despicable True Dragon. I led the 9 demon sovereigns of the savage desolate demon region to seek revenge on True Dragon. In the end, we encountered the invasion of the otherworldly demons. The entire war god continent was plunged into misery and suffering. That battle almost destroyed the war god continent. The old goat's eyes were filled with sadness. And I was severely injured by the demonic emperor. But, where? There was a hint of disappointment in Ling Xiao's eyes. Ling Xiao smiled. What's your name? The old goat directly spat out the immortal drunken wine in his mouth. His eyes widened in disbelief. Brat, do you know your master's name? How dare you call him Ling Xiao? You're so rebellious. The old goat pointed a trembling hoof at Ling Xiao and shouted angrily. My master's name is Ling Xiao too? My parents gave me that name. What can I do? Ling Xiao shrugged and said innocently. Bastard. How can you be called Ling Xiao? And now that I think about it, you look quite similar to that fellow. The old goat looked at Ling Xiao suspiciously. He felt that this young man before him was very similar to the sky-devouring supreme, be it in terms of appearance or temperament. Do we look alike? Maybe it's because I cultivated the sky-devouring secret technique. That's why my master and I have the same aura. Does this mean that I'll be like my master and become the #1 paragon in the world? Ling Xiao coughed lightly and laughed shamelessly. Become the #1 paragon in the world? You're still far from it. The old goat glanced at Ling Xiao and said unhappily. I'm the saint of the Changsan sect now. I'm a peerless genius of my generation. As long as I have enough time, I'll definitely be able to reach the peak and even surpass my master. Ling Xiao chuckled, his body exuding a faint aura of sharpness. You're just bragging. You actually cultivated the ancestral dragon secret technique? The old goat sneered, but its eyes flashed as if it had discovered something extraordinary. It circled around Ling Xiao, its eyes full of excitement. The ancestral dragon's secret technique is that bastard Zhenlong's treasure. Even your master only obtained a little bit of it back then. How did you cultivate the ancestral dragon's secret technique? And looking at your cultivation realm, you've already cultivated to the earth dragon constitution? The old goat's eyes lit up as he stared at Ling Xiao as if he was looking at a peerless treasure. The ancestral dragon's secret technique was passed down to me by my master. What do you want? Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of vigilance. He knew this old thing the best. As long as it revealed such an expression, it meant that nothing good was going to happen. Your master passed it down to you? Could it be that he obtained the complete ancestral dragon's secret technique from Zhenlong later? The old goat was stunned for a moment before he laughed. He moved closer to Ling Xiao and said, "Kid, let's make a deal. I'll guide you in cultivating the sky-devouring secret technique in the future, and you'll teach me the ancestral dragon's secret technique. How about that?" So it's after the ancestral dragon's secret technique. Ling Xiao was stunned and found it funny. The old goat's origin was very mysterious. Even Ling Xiao couldn't recognize the old goat's original form. He had guessed that the old goat should be a demonic beast with an ancient bloodline. Its origin was not to be underestimated. To demonic beasts, the ancestral dragon's secret technique naturally had an unimaginable temptation. 10,000 years ago, part of the reason why the old goat didn't get along with Zhenlong was because he was a good-for-nothing. He coveted Zhenlong's ancestral dragon's secret technique and had secretly attacked him a few times. Zhenlong was naturally infuriated. Because of this, there were many battles between the two of them. It gave Ling Xiao a headache in his previous life. There's no need for that, old goat. My master has already told me how to cultivate the sky-devouring secret technique. Also, the ancestral dragon's secret technique was passed down by my master and can't be passed down to outsiders. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave first. Chapter 350. Don't go, boy. I'm your master's older brother. How could I possibly be an outsider? Years ago, your master begged me to learn it, but I refused. I had nothing better to do, so I thought I'd help you see if there were any flaws in the ancestral dragon's secret art. I'm doing this for your own good. You better know what's good for you. The old goat did not give up. He chased after Ling Xiao with his beard twitching. Whoosh! Ling Xiao moved with incredible speed, turning into a streak of golden light as he used a secret magic to teleport deeper into the Live Forever pocket realm. The old goat's speed wasn't slow either. He stepped on an auspicious cloud, and his fur was shiny like silk. He followed behind Ling Xiao and chattered endlessly, trying to trick him into getting the ancestral dragon's secret technique. Ling Xiao was amused, but he didn't relent. Even if I wanted to give you the ancestral dragon's secret art, you can't possibly cultivate it with your Dao injuries, can you, old goat? Ling Xiao said, glaring at the old goat. I can't believe you can see my Dao injuries. Not bad, boy. I really can't cultivate them right now. I need to heal my Dao injuries. Years ago, I used a forbidden move from the heaven-devouring secret art to injure the Heaven Devil Emperor. I drew on the god power of a great Dao to injure him, damaging my life force quintessence. I went into hibernation for more than 10,000 years, but all I could do was prevent my Dao injuries from worsening. The old goat's eyes flickered with surprise at Ling Xiao's ability to see his Dao injuries. Although he looked normal on the outside, and had the power of a fifth-order demonling, his insides were in shambles. The sealing marks of a great Dao were stuck inside of him, making it impossible for his fleshly body and cultivation base to heal. Ling Xiao could see that the old goat's life force quintessence was riddled with cracks, and his meridians were broken. If it weren't for the fact that the old goat had cultivated the heaven-devouring secret art to a higher level than Ling Xiao's, as well as the King Heaven-Devourer Cauldron, he would have long since been reduced to ash. I'll take you to a place where the golden wind and jade dew can help heal your Dao injuries. Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. What? Golden wind and jade dew? The Live Forever pocket realm has golden wind and jade dew? The old goat's body shook, and his eyes revealed a look of pleasant surprise. The words golden wind and jade dew seemed to have a strange magic to it. The golden wind was the power of the great path law, and the jade dew was the power of the essence of the gods. The golden wind and jade dew was a kind of energy formed from the god's corpse after the death of the ancient gods under the influence of the Great Path Law, after countless years of changes. The golden wind and jade dew was incomparably precious, especially to martial artists who cultivated their bodies. It could allow one to be reborn, cultivate a supreme Tao body, fill one's life source, and possess a terrifying physical body comparable to that of a divine beast. If he had the golden wind and jade dew, it would be of great help to the old goat's Tao injury, even if it couldn't be completely healed. That's right. There is a golden wind and jade dew pond in the longevity secret realm. It has not been collected for 10,000 years. I believe there should be a lot of golden wind and jade dew in there. It should be enough for us to cultivate. Ling Xiao's eyes also revealed a trace of excitement. The golden wind jade dew pool was one of the main reasons he had come to the depths of the longevity secret zone. It was also the foundation for him to continue improving his physical strength and complete his earth dragon body. Good lad, you are not bad. You are to my liking. When I recover my cultivation, I will bring you to the war god continent to see the true peerless geniuses. The old goat laughed, raised his hooves and knocked on Ling Xiao's arm. His face was full of smiles. A man and a goat flew across the sky, crossing one majestic mountain range after another, and finally arrived at a swamp. The swamp was filled with fog. The surroundings looked very peaceful, but there was a faint sense of danger. Lad, someone is following us. The old goat knocked on Ling Xiao with his hooves and said softly, I know. They are all my enemies. Since they want to die, I will fulfill their wish. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, and a trace of coldness flashed in his eyes. Hee, if those fellows do not know what is good for them, I do not mind teaching them an unforgettable lesson. The old goat laughed, and a faint light flashed in his eyes. Although the aura behind him was faint, Ling Xiao could easily sense that it was the people of the Wanshou sect. Ling Xiao and the old goat landed in the middle of the swamp, and arrived in front of a very ordinary-looking puddle. Is the golden wind jade dew pond here? The old goat was a little surprised. He did not feel any fluctuations from the array. That's right. It is here. Previously, it was sealed underground by my master's array. I wonder how much golden wind jade dew there has been in the past tens of thousands of years. Ling Xiao's eyes showed a trace of anticipation. Buzz. Ling Xiao's hands emitted a bright light, and mysterious runes flew out. Then he formed a seal with his hands, and runes fell in all directions. A mysterious aura spread out, as if it was resonating because of the seals formed by Ling Xiao's hands. Rumble. The puddle in front of them actually cracked open, and a vast aura was emitted from it. Endless earth energy rose, and a bright golden light spewed out. A brilliant golden pond slowly rose from the ground. It was ancient and vicissitudes of life, and a majestic aura spread out. Ling Xiao could see that although the golden pond was only 100 feet wide, it was modeled and ancient, and there was a mysterious power of law flowing around it. The golden pond did not look regular, as if some kind of golden bone had been hollowed out to form the golden pond. What excited Ling Xiao the most was that there was a wisp of golden mist rising from the golden pond, and there was a thin layer of liquid in the golden pond that contained vast and majestic energy fluctuations. Golden wind jade dew. This was the golden wind jade dew. Ling Xiao and the old goat were very excited, and they stared at the golden pond without moving. Swoosh! 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 At this moment, a few powerful sonic booms came through the air and landed in front of Ling Xiao. It was a group of experts with cold auras. There were both young and old, and they all looked at Ling Xiao with cold murderous intent. They also looked at the golden wind jade dew pond with excitement. Ah! Ling Xiao, I didn't think that there would be such a precious golden pond here. As repayment, I'll give you a quick death. I won't let you die so quickly. An old laugh sounded, and an old man in the lead walked out, emitting a majestic aura all over, causing the void to tremble slightly. Beside the old man, there was a middle-aged man with killing intent on his face. He stared at Ling Xiao with a cold expression. Su Liangqing and He Qing. Ling Xiao recognized these two people at a glance. Chapter 351. Wanshou sect? What? Tiger King's death didn't teach you a lesson? Ling Xiao glanced at Su Liangqing and He Qing as he spoke. Those from the Wild Blade sect were there as well. Ling Xiao understood that the Wild Blade sect must have been upset that Ling Xiao had stolen Wolf King's demonic pearl, so they went to the Wanshou sect to ask for help. It was this group of people who had followed Ling Xiao. The sect leader of the Wild Blade sect, Wang Jiandong, really made Ling Xiao think highly of him. He knew when to yield, and when to stand tall. Knowing that he wasn't Ling Xiao's match, he simply lowered his head, and went to look for the Wanshou sect, wanting to borrow a knife to kill Ling Xiao. However, it was a pity that Ling Xiao was no pushover. After hearing Ling Xiao's words, Su Liangqing and He Qing's faces darkened. Their eyes were filled with murderous intent, especially Su Liangqing. As a half-step noble realm expert, it was a great humiliation for him to let Ling Xiao kill Tiger King in front of him. Because of Tiger King's death, the Wanshou sect lost a genius. Su Liangqing was scolded by the sect leader, which made him hate Ling Xiao even more. Little bastard, you can talk all you want. Without Xia Huang and the rest, I'll see who can save you today. Su Liangqing stared coldly at Ling Xiao and said word by word. I don't need anyone to save me. I'll bet that you can't kill me. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. You're just a half-step noble realm ant. How dare you be so arrogant in front of me? When I'm at my peak, I can kill you with a breath. The old goat crossed its two hooves in front of its chest, and looked at Su Liangqing with disdain. It had a very arrogant appearance. Who are you? A rank 5 goat can actually talk? Su Liangqing's gaze turned cold. He was also a little surprised. The old goat looked like it was only at the 5th step of cultivation, but it could actually speak human language. You're the goat. Your whole family are goats. I've been through the ages and swallowed the heavens and the earth. I'm the sky-devouring emperor. Why don't you kneel before me? The goat was so angry that he jumped up and pointed at Su Liangqing with his hooves. Emperor? What an arrogant tone. A goat demon dares to be so arrogant. A pet should have the self-awareness of a pet. Otherwise, if you offend someone you shouldn't, you won't even know how you died. Su Liangqing glanced at the goat, his eyes blazing with killing intent. Legend has it that in ancient times, the great emperor was the lord of the gods, the lord of the myriad worlds. He controlled the cycle of life, death, and reincarnation and was omnipotent. At the end of the ancient mythological era, there was a great war between the gods. The great emperor had long since disappeared, and even the gods had left this world. A mere rank 5 goat actually dared to call itself emperor. This made Su Liangqing feel both amused and hateful. This goat's mouth was really asking for a beating. Who are you calling a pet? Your ancestor is a pet. Half of your body is already in the ground, but you're still only half a step away from the noble plane. You've wasted your entire life. Get your ass over here. I guarantee that I'll beat you up so badly that even your mother won't be able to recognize you. The word pet infuriated the goat, causing all the black fur on its body to stand on end. It glared at Su Liangqing with an unfriendly expression, and said angrily, Bastard, you're courting death. A cold light flashed across Su Liangqing's eyes, and he immediately slapped at the goat. Boom. Su Liangqing's angry attack carried the momentum of heaven and earth, and contained unparalleled power. The palm print swept across the sky and pressed down like a divine mountain. Even Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of sharpness. This was the power of heaven and earth's will. It could dominate heaven and earth and control one's own body. Zhou Tian was a noble plane. With Ling Xiao's current strength, he was no match for Su Liangqing at all. Are you serious? Old bastard, you hit me just because you can't win an argument. You're really a bastard. The old goat let out a strange cry and wanted to escape. However, how could Su Liangqing's palm be so easily dodged? Suddenly, the palm landed on the old goat's body. Vast divine power gushed out, and the old goat was sent flying hundreds of meters away by Su Liangqing's palm. Old bastard, if I wasn't severely injured, I would have slapped you to death with one slap. Just you wait. When I recover my cultivation, I'll visit your ancestral grave. The old goat said in exasperation. Su Liangqing was shocked and angry. He was shocked that he could not kill a rank 5 goat with one slap, even though he was half a step away from the noble plane. Moreover, the old goat did not seem to be injured at all. His body was still smooth and shiny. Where did this old goat come from? You're courting death. The old goat's words ignited Su Liangqing's anger. He pointed his finger at the old goat with a sharpness that could pierce through everything. Again? Old bastard, do you have any shame? Ouch. It hurts. The old goat shrieked in fear. He could not dodge Su Liangqing's attack, and was hit by Su Liangqing's finger. He screamed in pain and flew dozens of meters away. Su Liangqing looked at the old goat, and was so angry that his nose was about to become crooked. The old goat kept shrieking, but there was not a single injury on his body. His fur was like silk and emitted a faint spiritual light. He howled in pain but was not injured at all. Ling Xiao had a faint smile on his face. The old goat had already cultivated the Heaven Devourer cauldron. Although his Dao injuries were severe, he had once formed a paragon body. Su Liangqing could not hurt him, and the cauldron had already absorbed the energy. Little bastard, pay with your life for my son's sake. Murderous intent flashed in He Qing's eyes. His expression was ferocious as he pulled out a glittering longsword and charged towards Ling Xiao. Brat, hurry up and think of something. If this goes on, we won't be a match for these guys. The old goat flew to Ling Xiao's side and said with a long face, let's go to the Golden Wind Jade Pond. Ling Xiao smiled and ignored Su Liangqing and He Qing. Instead, he pulled the old goat and flew toward the Golden Wind Jade Pond. Stop him! Su Liangqing and the others' eyes flashed. Although they did not know what Ling Xiao was planning, the Golden Wind Jade Pond was a precious treasure that could not fall into his hands. Ryuambel. Su Liangqing attacked with incredible speed, sending a dazzling beam of light toward Ling Xiao and the old goat, hoping to cut them down and prevent them from entering the Golden Wind Jade Pond. The beam of light pierced through Ling Xiao, but Su Liangqing quickly realized that it was only an afterimage. The real Ling Xiao had already flown into the Golden Wind Jade Pond with the old goat. Whiz! The Golden Wind Jade Pond shone with a dazzling golden light that wrapped around Ling Xiao and the old goat. Su Liangqing and He Qing's attacks hit the surface of the pond, causing ripples to spread out. However, they were incapable of entering the pond. Attack the pond and kill Ling Xiao and the old goat. Chapter 352. Rumble. The Golden Wind Jade Pond trembled slightly as runes spread out. A divine light enchantment like water blocked Su Liangqing's attack. Ripples appeared on the barrier, and it began to tremble slightly as if it would break at any moment. There's so much Golden Wind Jade Dew? After entering the Golden Wind Jade Dew pool, Ling Xiao and the old goat's eyes were filled with excitement. Golden and dense wind filled the Golden Wind Jade Dew pool. It was as if the amber dew had sunk to the bottom of the pool. Although it was only a thin layer, it contained extremely terrifying power. Under the influence of the laws of heaven and earth, the god's corpse turned into Golden Wind Jade Dew. It was the power of heaven and earth and contained an extremely mysterious power. After tens of thousands of years of nurturing, the amount of Golden Wind Jade Dew pool made Ling Xiao and the old goat extremely happy. Kid, although the Golden Wind Jade Dew pool has a barrier, it doesn't look very strong. It can't withstand the attack of a noble realm expert. Aren't you afraid that those old bastards outside will break the barrier? The Golden Wind Jade Dew pool trembled. Hearing the voice from outside, the old goat's eyes turned solemn. What's there to be afraid of? If they want to break through the boundary of the Golden Wind Jade Dew pond, even a noble realm expert would need a day. One day is enough for me to do a lot of things. Plus, if they can't break the barrier, it won't be fun. Ling Xiao chuckled as a trace of coldness appeared in his eyes. Since the people of the Wanshou sect were so persistent, he didn't mind teaching them an unforgettable lesson. You're right. With so much Golden Wind Jade Dew, it's enough for my Dao injury to recover a little. Then I'll kill that old bastard. The old goat snorted as he looked at Su Liangqing with displeasure in his eyes. Although Su Liangqing's attack couldn't hurt him, the old goat was the sky-devouring emperor. When had he ever suffered such a loss? Buzz. The old goat sat down with his hind legs crossed like a human. He placed his front legs in front of him and formed a seal with his hooves. He looked like a three-legged cauldron and exuded a mysterious aura. A golden divine light pervaded the air. The old goat had a dignified appearance. Its black fur emitted a golden radiance. A cauldron with 3 legs and 2 handles slowly floated up into appearance between its 2 hooves. It was dazzling with golden light, and it was ancient and mysterious. The mouth of the cauldron sprayed with divine light, and it was like a mysterious vortex in the sea of stars that erupted with an extremely powerful suction force. Rumble! The golden wind jade dew pool turned into a divine light storm and rushed towards the mouth of the cauldron. King Cauldron. Ling Xiao's body trembled, and a glint appeared in his eyes. The golden wind jade cauldron was the cauldron in his previous life. Was the golden wind jade dew pool's cauldron. The sky-devouring golden lotus was already very terrifying. Not only could it devour spirit qi, but it could also devour true qi, demonic qi, fiend qi, and other types of energy in the bodies of living beings. But the king heaven-devouring cauldron could devour anything and everything. It could even steal longevity, destiny, and latent talent. In his previous life, Ling Xiao had been immortal, but in the end he had become a natural-born god spirit. That was because he had used the king heaven-devouring cauldron to devour the latent talent and destiny of countless chosen. The king heaven-devouring cauldron was the foundation of his Tao, and also his greatest reliance in his previous life. Therefore, when he saw the king heaven-devouring cauldron, he couldn't help but sigh. Once my fleshly body power reaches the perfect level, I can use the 9 heavens spirit-melting grass and other precious materials to break through to the flying dragon body. When that happens, not even Su Liangqing will be a match for me. Eyes glittering, Ling Xiao sat down cross-legged in the middle of the golden wind jade dew pool. Rumble. Powerful heaven-devouring true qi permeated the air. Wisps of golden wind swept across the sky and diffused into Ling Xiao's body. Drops of raindrops melted and began to nourish Ling Xiao's body. The metal wind was the power of the Great Path. After it entered Ling Xiao's body was originally pure and flawless. His divine flesh and bones emitted a jade-like luster without any impurities. However, under the scouring of the wind, traces of black impurities emerged. The golden wind was as sharp as a blade, filled with explosive power. It was like heavenly lightning that began to temper Ling Xiao's flesh, bones, and meridians. It was almost as if Ling Xiao's fleshly body was made of iron and was being burned by fire and tempered by a hammer. It was using intense methods to grind away at the impurities. The pain was so intense that it felt like it was tearing Ling Xiao to pieces, and yet, he was able to maintain his clarity of mind. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in the middle of the endless golden wind. In the face of such extreme pain, he did not even frown. His face was still calm, and a faint smile hung on his lips, as if he was a merciful Buddha. The jade dew nourished everything silently, and as it entered Ling Xiao's body, it began to heal the wounds in the places that the golden wind had destroyed. It was like a phoenix bathing in fire, and Ling Xiao's fleshly body became stronger and stronger. Crack! Cracks even began to appear on Ling Xiao's body. The golden wind seeped out of the cracks, and its sharpness was unparalleled, as if it wanted to shatter Ling Xiao's fleshly body completely. However, as the heaven-devouring true energy surged, a golden lotus floated above Ling Xiao's head, and rays of divine light fell from it. It was dazzling, and turned into runes to maintain the vitality in Ling Xiao's body. Just like that, under the destruction of the golden wind and the nourishment of the jade dew, Ling Xiao's fleshly body began to slowly strengthen. After all, the golden wind and jade dew pool contained the laws of great Tao and the essence of gods. It was not something that ordinary people could endure. 10,000 years ago, when the longevity sect was obtained, only noble realm cultivators or even monarch realm cultivators dared to use the golden wind and jade, due to temper their fleshly body and forge a supreme battle constitution. However, Ling Xiao's fleshly body was already extremely strong. With the body of the earth dragon, Ling Xiao's fleshly body was comparable to a peak 6th rank monster. Compared to a noble realm cultivator, he only lacked the tempering of the world's will. The fleshly body forged with the golden wind and jade dew had the effects of the laws of great Tao. Some of the flaws that Ling Xiao did not notice when he cultivated the secret technique of the ancestral dragon began to be fixed, and it became perfect. Those small flaws did not seem like much now, but in the future, it was very likely that they would become bottlenecks that would shackle Ling Xiao from reaching the peak. Therefore, the golden wind and jade dew was no different from a great fortune to Ling Xiao. Rumble. Outside the golden wind and jade dew pool, the space trembled, and ripples spread out from the barrier like ripples. Those runes were like candlelight in the wind, flickering as if they would shatter at any moment. Damn it! What kind of treasure is this golden wind and jade dew pool? Why is there such a powerful barrier? Su Liangcheng, He Qing, and the others became slightly anxious after attacking for a long time without success. They did not know what fortuitous encounter Ling Xiao had obtained in the golden wind, and the longer this dragged on, the more disadvantageous it would be for them. He Qing summoned the experts of the Myriad Beasts sect. No matter what, we must kill Ling Xiao today. Chapter 353. Boom. A dazzling firework shot up into the sky and exploded in the sky, forming the shadow of a giant beast that shook the heavens. Is that the 1,000 miles of mist? This is an emergency summon from the Wanshou sect. Let's go and take a look. Could it be that they have encountered a strong enemy? Who dares to touch the people of the Wanshou sect? Kill without mercy. Some of the disciples of the Wanshou sect raised their heads and looked at the shadow of the giant beast in the sky. Their eyes were filled with shock. Swoosh. Swoosh. Many powerful figures soared into the sky and flew towards the direction where the 1,000 miles of mist exploded. In the Desolation Mountains, a beautiful figure covered in red flames flew across the sky. It was the Phoenix girl of the Wanshou sect. When the 1,000 miles of mist exploded in the sky, she happened to be within the range of the explosion. Her eyes were filled with surprise. Only the elders of the sect can have such a level of 1,000 miles of mist. Could it be that something big has happened? The Phoenix girl's eyes flashed. She stepped on the clouds and flew towards the direction of the explosion. A golden void war chariot charged out from a boiling lava lake. It gave off a vast and ancient aura. There were countless ancient runes on it, making it look very mysterious. The chariot was ancient and made of mysterious metal. There were mysterious runes and patterns on it, but some parts were broken. Golden light gushed out, as if there was a golden sun supporting the chariot. It breathed in the essence of heaven and earth, majestic and domineering. Ha! Second uncle, this secret realm of immortality is really a good place. I didn't expect there to be a flame spiritual spring in the lava lake. My cultivation has finally reached level 9 of the master realm. Zhao Ritian sat on the void chariot, his black hair draped behind his head. His face was handsome and his eyes were filled with pride. He exuded an extremely powerful aura. I say, Ritian, look at you. What is a mere level 9 of the master realm to you? This secret realm of immortality is not ordinary. There must be countless precious treasures. As long as you are obedient, I promise you that you can break through to the celestial realm, or even the noble realm. An old voice came from Zhao Ritian's body. Really? Thank you, second uncle. You are the best to me. Zhao Ritian's eyes lit up. His eyes were filled with excitement. Second master, with this emperor war chariot, even if it is a celestial realm elite, I can kill him. It's a pity that the emperor's war chariot is already damaged. It can only unleash the power of a low-grade Dao artifact. Zhao Ritian caressed the ancient war chariot and looked at the broken runes and cracks on it. His eyes were filled with pain. You should be content. If it's a complete emperor chariot, it's a peerless grade Taoist instrument. If you're not a noble realm expert, you won't be able to activate the peerless grade Taoist instrument's power. Second uncle said snappily. Zhao Ritian nodded. Suddenly he thought of something and asked, Second master, with my current strength and the emperor chariot, can I beat that bastard Ling Xiao? Zhao Ritian's words choked the second elder. He thought for a while and said, I advise you not to provoke Ling Xiao. That kid is very strange. Even I can't see through him. What's there to be afraid of? Could it be that he has 3 heads and 6 arms? If I really meet him, I'd like to see if he's a match for me. Zhao Ritian smiled proudly and said nonchalantly, Rumble. Right at this moment, a dazzling firework exploded in the void, and the projection of a giant beast appeared. It's the 1,000 miles of cloud from the Wanshou sect? This is strange. Why is the Wanshou sect gathering elites? Could it be that they have found some kind of treasure? Zhao Ritian's eyes lit up. He immediately drove the emperor chariot across the sky. At the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pool, Ling Xiao and the old goat were still cultivating. They were being tortured by the golden wind and nourished by the jade dew. They did not care about the people outside who were attacking the spiritual barrier. Outside the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pool, many elites had gathered. Not only were there disciples from the Wan Shou sect, but there were also many elites from smaller sects and ancient families. After sensing the presence of the 1,000 miles of cloud, they all rushed over. Among them was the first prince of the great Huang ancient country, Huang Haifeng. Huang Haifeng walked over with majestic steps. Behind him was a shriveled old servant. He looked as if half of his body was already in the ground. His entire body was lethargic. However, when he opened his eyes, there was a hint of sharpness that made one's heart palpitate. The Phoenix woman had also arrived. As the pride of the Eight Desolation region and the goddess in everyone's heart, the arrival of the Phoenix woman had caused many young warriors to be excited. Their eyes were filled with passion. Other than the Phoenix woman, there was also a young man in black armor standing beside He Qing. His aura was very wild. The young man looked very handsome. He was tall and slender. His hair fluttered in the wind. There seemed to be a black vortex in his eyes that made people not dare to look at him directly. He stood there, exuding a heavy and ancient aura. He was like a divine mountain, unmoving like a mountain. Black Tortoise, you're here? Just nice. Your river diagram is a treasure that can break arrays. See if it can break the spiritual barrier of the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pool. After Su Liangqing and He Qing saw that young man, their eyes revealed incomparably pleasantly surprised expressions. Among the 10,000 beasts 7 scions, the strongest were naturally the Dragon Son and Phoenix Woman. Ranked third was the Turtle Son, the Black Tortoise, which was this young man in black armor. There were even people who said that the reason why the Black Tortoise was ranked third was because he usually kept a low profile. His true combat strength should be about the same as the Phoenix Woman, and not much worse than the Dragon Son. Because the Black Tortoise's cultivation was the same as the Phoenix Woman, also at the second level of the Heaven Realm. Is Ling Xiao really in this Golden Wind Jade Dew Pool? The Black Tortoise's eyes revealed a trace of sharpness as he said indifferently. He Qing was slightly taken aback. He nodded and said, "That's right. Ling Xiao is already trapped in the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pool. As long as we break the spiritual barrier, not only can we obtain the treasure inside, but we can also kill Ling Xiao and avenge the Tiger King." He Qing could see the killing intent in the Black Tortoise's eyes. Among the 10,000 beasts 7 scions, the Tiger King and the Black Tortoise had the best relationship. They were practically as close as brothers. The Tiger King dying in Ling Xiao's hands, the one who was most furious was the Black Tortoise. It was just that the Black Tortoise did not find the opportunity to enter the longevity mystic realm. Now that he knew Ling Xiao's whereabouts, he naturally would not let Ling Xiao go. All right. Since that's the case, let him be buried with the Tiger King. The Black Tortoise said indifferently. The killing intent in his eyes was bone-chilling. Rumble. A vast and heavy aura exploded. The Black Tortoise took a step forward, causing the earth to shake. The vast innate chi around his body was like the waves of the sea, boundless and unparalleled. Chapter 354. That's the legendary river diagram? Someone's eyes flashed, revealing a trace of shock. The river diagram was a powerful doctrine artifact. Legend had it that it was refined by the Black Tortoise during the ancient times. However, after so many years, it was only a lower-grade doctrine artifact. The river diagram was an array-breaking treasure. It contained the mysteries of array Dao, and could even absorb people into it. It was extremely powerful. The Black Tortoise has made his move. With the river diagram in hand, the bounded boundary will definitely be broken. I heard that Ling Xiao is hiding inside. I'm afraid he's a turtle in a jar. He's dead meat. Someone's eyes flashed as he whispered. That's right. Ling Xiao is too arrogant. He's just a level 1 grandmaster. Although he has some talent. How dare he challenge the Wan Shou sect? Without Xia Huang and the rest to back him up, he's dead meat. The Wan Shou sect will definitely not let him go. I heard that the Black Tortoise and the Tiger King are good friends. The black tortoise must be trying to avenge the Tiger King. Hee, this is going to be a good show. Everyone had different expressions on their faces. Their eyes were fixed on the golden wind jade dew pond as they looked forward to what was going to happen next. Buzz. The river diagram appeared in the void and spread out. It turned into a huge scroll that was 100 feet long. It was ancient and mysterious. The mountains, rivers, lakes, suns, moons, and stars in the scroll seemed to have come alive. They emitted dazzling light and fell from the scroll. They intertwined with each other like divine chains of order, and stretched toward the golden wind jade dew pond. Boom. Countless threads filled the air as if they were the laws of heaven and earth. The bounded boundary outside the golden wind jade dew pond started to buzz and tremble. Then ripples appeared and it started to fluctuate violently. Everyone could see with their naked eyes that numerous small cracks had appeared on the bounded boundary. The cracks were getting bigger and bigger, and it seemed like the bounded boundary was going to break. The bounded boundary is going to be broken? Everyone's eyes lit up and they were suddenly energized. Su Liangqing and He Qing's eyes were cold and sharp. They stared at the golden wind jade dew pond and wanted to find Ling Xiao as soon as possible. Rumble. The river diagram emitted a gentle light. The intertwining divine chains of order seemed to have instantly captured the weakness of the enchantment and began to make the gap in the enchantment bigger and bigger. In the end, the barrier outside the golden wind jade dew pond shattered like cracked glass. A faint golden wind pervaded the air, and the resplendent dew worked, revealing the figures of Ling Xiao and the old goat. It really is Ling Xiao. Everyone's eyes flashed as they saw the young man sitting cross-legged in the golden wind jade dew pool. It was Ling Xiao. What is that? The golden wind is like the dew of amber. It must be an incomparably precious heavenly treasure. Someone exclaimed when he saw the golden wind and jade dew. His eyes were filled with excitement. Although they didn't recognize the origin of the golden wind and morning dew, everyone knew that this was definitely a supreme treasure when they saw the brilliant divine light flowing in the golden treasure pool, and the mysterious power of laws contained within it. Is that a goat? Heavens, such a treasure was actually ruined by a goat? Ling Xiao is really a prodigal son. How can he let a goat ruin such a treasure? Someone saw the goat opposite Ling Xiao open its mouth and swallow the golden wind and jade dew. The goat's face revealed a human-like expression of intoxication. Immediately, someone pounded his chest and stamped his feet with a pained expression. Ling Xiao, get out here. Su Liangqing's eyes flashed and he immediately sent a palm strike towards Ling Xiao. He also saw that the golden wind and jade dew was a good item, so he didn't plan to give Ling Xiao any chance to become stronger. This palm strike encompassed both Ling Xiao and the old goat, wanting to force them out. Old bastard, it's you again? Do you really think this emperor doesn't dare to kill you? The old goat's eyes suddenly opened and 2 rays of golden divine light shot out. It was majestic and mysterious. However, in the next moment, the old goat's face revealed a flustered and exasperated expression, destroying that majestic image. He pointed at Su Liangqing and cursed loudly. Boom. The old goat stomped with its hoof, causing the void to tremble. It was as if a black thunderbolt had exploded in the void and instantly stomped on Su Liangqing's palm. A monstrous divine power came and Su Liangqing's expression changed. He immediately took a few steps back, and his eyes revealed a look of extreme shock. He felt his arm go numb. The power of this palm strike was completely nullified by the old goat. Moreover, that despicable goat was still sitting in the golden wind and jade dew pond as if it wasn't affected at all. Just before Ling Xiao and the old goat entered the golden wind and jade dew pond, the old goat wasn't Su Liangqing's match. Although his skin was rough, Su Liangqing still beat him until he covered his head and ran away like a rat. However, after a short period of time, the old goat actually had the ability to match Su Liangqing's strength. This was too unbelievable. It's because of the golden wind and jade dew. Su Liangqing's eyes flashed and revealed an extremely greedy expression. If he could obtain the golden wind and jade dew, he might be able to break through to the noble realm. He had to obtain the golden wind and jade dew. However, the others weren't stupid either. They all stared at the golden wind and jade dew with burning eyes. Their chi was bursting out as if they were going to snatch it at any time. At this moment, Ling Xiao woke up from his cultivation. His eyes were like lightning, piercing through the void. His entire body exuded a mysterious and vast dragon might. He was like a humanoid true dragon, extremely powerful. Ling Zhao's cultivation was still at the second level of the Grandmaster realm. His secret skill of the ancestral dragon was still at the second level of the earth dragon body. Although there was no improvement, Ling Zhao was clearly different now. His body was flawless and his skin exuded a jade-like luster. His clothes were whiter than snow and his black hair was flying. Standing in the golden wind and jade dew pond, he was surrounded by golden divine light. His eyes were even brighter than the stars. Even Ling Zhao's enemies couldn't help but praise him. This was a perfect young man. It was as if he had obtained the fortune of heaven and earth, making people go crazy with jealousy. Buzz. Ling Zhao waved his hand and the remaining golden wind and jade dew flew into the jade gourd that he had prepared beforehand. Bastard, what are you doing? Ling Zhao, put down the golden wind and jade dew. Ling Zhao, hand over the golden wind and jade dew. Otherwise you will die without a burial place. The experts who coveted the golden wind and jade dew were instantly enraged and scolded Ling Zhao one after another. Ling Zhao, hand over the golden wind and jade dew, and I can make the decision to give you a quick death. Otherwise, when you fall into my hands, you will know what it means to beg for death. Su Liangqing stood out. His eyes were cold and his voice contained a cold murderous intent. He was determined to obtain the golden wind and jade dew. This was related to his martial arts path and his great opportunity to break through to the noble realm. Whoever dared to stop him would be his enemy. Chapter 355. Ling Zhao put away the golden wind and morning dew and instantly became the target of public criticism. What angered them the most was that Ling Zhao had taken away the golden wind and morning dew when he couldn't even protect himself. He was courting death. The golden wind and morning dew is right here. Come and get it yourself if you dare. Ling Zhao smiled faintly as he looked at the crowd with sparkling eyes. A bunch of bastards. How dare you covet what's mine? Are you tired of living? The old goat glared at the crowd and roared. The old goat had tasted the sweetness of the golden wind and morning dew pond. The golden wind and morning dew contained the power of the great path law, and had miraculous effects on its Tao injury. If they had not breached the barrier, the goat would have been able to use the golden wind and morning dew to heal its Tao injury. Therefore, the appearance of these people made the old goat very angry, especially now that they were eyeing the golden wind and morning dew. They had touched the old goat's reverse scale. What's that? A goat? A goat dares to yell at us? You're courting death. Ling Zhao is already arrogant enough. I didn't expect his pet to be even more arrogant. How dare it call itself emperor? Does it really think that it's an ancient shifter emperor? Everyone was stunned for a moment, and then they were enraged. Boom. Su Liangqing exuded a powerful aura that pressed down on Ling Zhao. He stepped in the air and the will of heaven and earth exploded. It was filled with a heavenly aura that made everyone's heart palpitate. Ling Zhao, I'll give you one last chance. Hand over the golden wind and morning dew or die. Su Liangqing's voice was cold as he stared at Ling Zhao. Old bastard, do you believe that I'll bite you to death? How dare you be so arrogant when you're only a half step to the noble plane? I could kill a bunch of people like you with a single breath back then. The old goat looked at Su Liangqing with disdain. Good, very good. If that's the case, I'll send you to hell. Su Liangqing's eyes were filled with murderous intent as a terrifying aura exploded around him. He slammed his palm down on Ling Zhao and the old goat. The palm print was vast and contained a powerful heavenly aura. It was as if the world had been turned upside down. It was unavoidable and one could only face it. Old bastard, I'll send you to see your grandfather. The old goat coldly snorted and immediately kicked Su Liangqing's palm. It instantly became 10,000 feet large and collided with Su Liangqing's palm. Rumble. The void trembled as the huge palm shattered. The old goat turned into a black beam of light with extreme speed. Its hooves were aimed at Su Liangqing's face. Su Liangqing's eyes revealed a look of shock and anger. His nose was about to become crooked from anger. This bastard goat's move was very wretched. One of its hooves was aimed at his face, while the other was aimed at his crotch. If that part of his body was hit, Su Liangqing's entire body shuddered as he felt his lower body turn cold. Bang! Su Liangqing's palm slashed down and collided with the old goat's attack. At the same time, bright runes filled his palm and turned into several bolts of light. He wanted to grab the old goat's hooves and kill it. Boom! There seemed to be a layer of black runes on the old goat's hooves. They instantly broke free from Su Liangqing's palm and turned into countless shadows that smashed towards Su Liangqing. Old bastard, take my goat emperor fist. The old goat roared as its eyes darted around. Its blood boiled as it exuded a vast physical strength that seemed to be able to crush the sky. Su Liangqing was shocked. He immediately unleashed the power of a half-step noble. Innate divine shield surrounded him as he prepared to deal with the old goat's attack. However, the thunderous attack that he expected did not come. The old goat made a feint and turned around, pointing its butt at Su Liangqing. What? Su Liangqing's eyes flashed as he suddenly had a bad feeling. Rumble. Like a thunderous explosion, a heavenly river burst. An earth-shattering sound was heard as a black gas spread out and enveloped Su Liangqing. The old goat actually farted at Su Liangqing. Su Liangqing's body stiffened and his face twisted as if he had seen a ghost. He let out a shrill scream. Ah! The old goat's fart shattered Su Liangqing's protective aura. The stench was indescribable, as if it was the filthiest thing in the world. It caused Su Liangqing's body to churn as if his organs were about to fall out. Clang! At this moment, the wretched old goat found an opportunity. Taking advantage of the moment Su Liangqing was distracted, it immediately kicked Su Liangqing's face with its hoof. That peerless divine power exploded, and Su Liangqing felt as if he was struck by lightning. Half of his face swelled up, and his flesh was badly mutilated. How terrifying was the old goat's physical body! This was a supreme demon sovereign from 10,000 years ago. Although his Dao injuries were severe, a single stomp from him was enough to topple a mountain, let alone Su Liangqing. Pfft! Su Liangqing spat out a mouthful of blood as his face burned with pain. The old goat's fart made him cry. It was simply an eyesore. Su Liangqing's lungs were about to explode from anger. His eyes were filled with incomparable resentment. He was the Grand Elder of the Wan Shou sect. Normally, other than the sect master and the supreme elders, even the 7 disciples of the Wan Shou sect were very respectful to him. When had he ever suffered such humiliation? Especially when he was bullied by a goat. If this were to spread, it would be a great humiliation. Countless people would mock and ridicule him. Everyone was dumbfounded by what they saw. Who would have thought that the wretched old goat's strength would be so terrifying? Even Su Liangqing suffered a great loss in its hands. Could it be that the old goat is a demon king? Someone thought of a possibility and said with a trembling voice, "Very likely. Have you ever seen a demon beast that can speak? I heard that only after breaking through to the demon king realm and refining the hyoid bone to take human form can they speak. I think this old goat is a demon king." A white-haired old man said with a solemn look in his eyes. When they thought of this possibility, everyone's expression became even more serious. There was even a trace of panic. If the old goat was really a demon king, they would be courting death if they dared to have any ideas about Ling Xiao. Rumble! At this moment, an ancient scroll suddenly unfolded in the void. It emitted a vast and ancient aura. Mountains, rivers, lakes, the sun, the moon, and the stars were like another world. It instantly enveloped the old goat. Is that the river diagram? Chapter 356. Black Tortoise made his move. He wore black armor, and his long hair fluttered in the wind. His body was slender and strong, and his eyes flashed with a cold light. The river diagram flew into the sky and wrapped around the old goat, keeping it inside. Bastard from the Wan Shou sect, how dare you sneak attack me? The old goat was planning to stomp on Su Liangqing's head again. It didn't notice that someone was going to attack it. As a result, the river diagram wrapped around it in an instant. The old goat was so angry that it cursed loudly. However, it disappeared in a flash. Whoosh! The river diagram emitted a bright light and turned into a red cloak. It fell from the sky and covered Black Tortoise. The red cloak was like a flame with mysterious symbols flowing on it. An ancient aura filled the air, making Black Tortoise look like a peerless god of war. His cold eyes fell on Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, prepare to pay with your life for the Tiger King, Black Tortoise said coldly. His voice was like thunder, exploding in the sky. Everyone's eardrums were buzzing and their faces turned pale. Lord Black Tortoise has made his move. Is that the legendary Black Tortoise's supreme treasure, the Taoist artifact river diagram? That arrogant old goat was actually kept by Lord Black Tortoise. That's amazing! Everyone exclaimed, their eyes filled with astonishment. Everyone saw the battle between the old goat and Su Liangcheng. Although the old goat's moves were wretched, it was undeniable that his combat strength was extremely strong. Otherwise, Su Liangcheng would not have suffered such a great loss. That was why everyone guessed that the wretched old goat was an expert of the Monster King realm. However, they did not expect Black Tortoise to keep the old goat in the river diagram. Legend has it that the river diagram is a creation treasure. During the ancient times, the Black Tortoise sovereign refined a Milky Way that connected the mortal and divine realms into the diagram to form the river diagram. At its peak, the river diagram was a supreme being artifact. Although the river diagram's power has decreased greatly, with this supreme being artifact, Lord Black Tortoise is invincible. Ling Xiao is in danger. That's right. I think Ling Xiao was able to kill Tiger King because Tiger King underestimated him. However, Lord Black Tortoise is different. Not only is his cultivation far superior to Ling Xiao's, he also has the river diagram as a precious treasure to protect himself. Ling Xiao is dead for sure. Ling Xiao is still too young. Even though he's talented, he still dared to offend the Wan Shou sect. I'm afraid he's going to die in the secret territory of immortality. Everyone was discussing animatedly as they looked at Ling Xiao with different expressions. The Tiger King was a good friend of the Black Tortoise. If Ling Xiao killed the Tiger King, the Black Tortoise would definitely not let Ling Xiao off. He would definitely kill Ling Xiao to avenge the Tiger King. As for the battle between the two, no one was optimistic about Ling Xiao's chances. What a great 10,000 beasts 7 science. So they're all vile characters who take advantage of others' difficulties. I think your name is really appropriate. Gizi, you really are the son of a bastard turtle. Ling Xiao glanced at the Black Tortoise with a cold look in his eyes. He could see that the river diagram was indeed very powerful. However, if the Black Tortoise had not suddenly launched a sneak attack, the old goat would not have fallen so easily. The Black Tortoise's gaze turned cold as he said coldly, Ling Xiao, you're about to die and you still dare to talk nonsense. I can't help but admire your courage. I'll send you and your pet to reunite later, and bury you in my river diagram forever. Is that so? I'm afraid you don't have the ability to do that. Ling Xiao's expression was very calm as he looked at the Black Tortoise. Ling Xiao, you're indeed very talented. I admit that even in the Wan Shou sect, perhaps only the Dragon Sun's talent can compete with yours. However, if you're talented and arrogant without strength, you're destined to die without a burial ground. The Black Tortoise's eyes flashed with murderous intent as he looked at Ling Xiao condescendingly. His voice was incomparably cold. You're the one who's going to die without a burial ground. It's just a river diagram. In my eyes, it's nothing. If I can kill the Tiger King, killing you will be as easy as killing a dog. Ling Xiao said indifferently. His voice was incomparably decisive, and revealed an invisible domineering aura. Everyone was stunned. With the river diagram, the Black Tortoise was already in an invincible position. Yet Ling Xiao still dared to say such words. Did he really have the confidence or was he scared silly? This brat must have lost his mind. I'd like to see if he still dares to be arrogant after being beaten up by the Black Tortoise senior brother. Huang Haifeng's eyes revealed a trace of coldness as he said disdainfully. Being defeated by Ling Xiao outside the longevity secret territory was a great humiliation. Now that Ling Xiao was in a desperate situation and had the entire world as his enemy, Huang Haifeng's heart was indescribably happy. This bastard. Even in the face of death, a dead pig is still not afraid of boiling water? The Black Tortoise is not someone the Tiger King can compare to. With the river diagram in hand, the Black Tortoise is already in an invincible position. Even the Dragon Sun can't break his defense. Among the crowd, The Phoenix woman saw Ling Zhao's nonchalant look, and for some reason, she was so angry that her teeth itched. If not for the black tortoise, she would have personally taught this brat a lesson. Second elder, it seems like I don't have to do anything. Ling Zhao is dead for sure. Life is as lonely as snow. I, Zhao Ritian, only have myself as my opponent. Zhao Ritian stood on the emperor chariot with his hands behind his back. His eyes were filled with arrogance. According to the current situation, Ling Zhao has no chance of escaping alive. However, this brat is very strange. I still have a feeling that this brat will not die. The voice of the second elder sounded. Zhao Ritian was stunned as he stared at Ling Zhao. This brat is only at the Grandmaster realm. Not to mention Su Liangcheng, he can't even defeat the black tortoise. Could it be that he really has a trump card? Seeing Ling Zhao's calm expression, Zhao Ritian's heart skipped a beat. The more he thought about it, the more likely it was. When Ling Zhao made a bet with him, he had the same expression. Hee, this brat is getting more and more cunning. It seems like the people from the Wanshou sect are going to be tricked by him again. Anyway, it has nothing to do with me. I'm just here to watch the show. Zhao Ritian chuckled as he lay down on the emperor chariot. His face was filled with satisfaction as he looked at Ling Zhao and the black tortoise, anticipating the battle that was about to happen. Very good. You're arrogant enough. I hope you can still be so stubborn later. A cold light flashed in the black tortoise's eyes as he took a step forward in the air. Terrifying innate chi spread out from his body like a vast ocean, pressing down on Ling Zhao. Boom! Black lightning exploded as if it was going to split the ocean apart. A black metal rod appeared in the black tortoise's hand. It looked ancient and simple with faint runes shining on it. Obviously, it was not an ordinary item. The black tortoise's rod slashed down on Ling Zhao's head. It was like a bolt of black lightning that pierced through the sky. It contained a vast amount of energy. Good timing. Chapter 357. Bang! Ling Zhao's punch was like a dragon as his terrifying blood chi burst out from his body. It was as if a primordial true dragon had awakened from the darkness, emitting an aura that could shock the heavens and the earth. The punch landed on the iron staff and a bright light burst out. Runes filled the air, and a terrifying force spread through the iron staff towards Black Tortoise's body. Whoosh! Black Tortoise's eyes flashed with a trace of shock. His body instantly rose into the air and spun rapidly like a top. Endless rays of light shrouded him as black lightning fell from the 9 heavens and poured into the iron staff in his hand. Boom! When Black Tortoise's aura rose to its peak, he smashed the staff downwards. Suddenly, a black sea spread out behind Black Tortoise, as if a huge black tortoise was coming down from the sky to suppress Ling Zhao. Black Tortoise Sky Staff. Black Tortoise shouted. The coldness in his eyes was like ice that would never melt. It swept across the sky with monstrous waves. It's the Black Tortoise Sky Staff? This is the ultimate move of the Black Tortoise True Technique. I didn't expect Senior Brother Black Tortoise to have cultivated this heaven-level martial art to such an extent. It seems like Senior Brother Black Tortoise wants to suppress Ling Zhao directly. A disciple of the Wanshou sect exclaimed with excitement in his eyes. The Black Tortoise Sky Staff was said to be able to communicate with the spirit of the Black Tortoise and summon the unparalleled divine power of the Black Tortoise to suppress everything. This move was the ultimate move of the Black Tortoise True Technique. Only those who had cultivated the Black Tortoise True Technique to the Great Completion realm could unleash the power of this move. Ling Zhao is going to lose. The crowd below felt that the sky was filled with shadows of the staff. The heavens and the earth dimmed as if everything in the world was going to be crushed by this staff. The Black Tortoise Sky Staff exuded a powerful aura that could destroy everything. It made the crowd's scalp tingle. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he felt a strong threat. Suddenly, his body bloomed with golden light, and his eyes revealed an incomparably powerful battle intent. 4 elephants heaven striking style. Ling Zhao faced the giant shadow of the staff in the sky and clenched his fists. 4 beams of dazzling divine light erupted from his body and shot up into the sky, transforming into the divine power of the 4 symbols of earth, water, wind, and fire. At the same time, traces of chaotic chi spread out. Rumble. The sky shook violently. The divine light of the four guardians was like four heavenly pillars. It collided with the black tortoise heavenly staff. Black cracks spread out in the void. The talisman was instantly shattered. The violent explosion almost deafened everyone. Everyone revealed an incomparably shocked expression. The black tortoise was one thing. He was already at the heaven tier in the first place. Coupled with the power of the black tortoise sky-reaching staff, he was able to unleash a power comparable to the 5th or 6th layer of the heaven tier. However, Ling Xiao was only at the 2nd level of the supreme power realm. How could he unleash the power of the celestial being realm? Just what kind of heaven-defying martial art was that terrifying four symbols divine light? At this moment, even the slowest person understood that the martial arts that Ling Xiao cultivated was definitely not ordinary. It was at least a heaven-class martial arts, or perhaps even more powerful. Crack. The four guardian divine lights exploded. The black tortoise heavenly staff actually pierced through the void. It was wrapped in unparalleled divine power, and crushed everything. It directly blasted Ling Xiao dozens of feet away. Ling Xiao, you're definitely going to die. Although the black tortoise was shocked by the terrifying power that Ling Xiao could unleash, he felt that Ling Xiao was still weaker than him. Suddenly, his heart was filled with information. He held the iron staff in his hand and continued to attack Ling Xiao. Is this the power of the black tortoise heavenly staff? It's really strong, but unfortunately, it's still too weak. Although Ling Xiao was blasted dozens of feet away, his body floated down like a goose feather. He did not suffer any injuries at all. Feeling the power of the black tortoise heavenly staff, Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a hint of surprise. He said something contradictory. The black tortoise heavenly staff was indeed very strong. It could even break through Ling Xiao's four symbols hitting the sky. However, the black tortoise heavenly staff was weak, because it had not reached the level that Ling Xiao had imagined. There was a limit to its strength. Rumble. The vast sea was turbulent. The iron staff in the black tortoise's hand fell. It was wrapped in vast divine power, and summoned the spirit of the black tortoise to suppress Ling Xiao. Kill! Ling Xiao shouted. He unleashed his terrifying physical strength, and began to fight with all his might. Although he had not broken through to the flying dragon constitution, Ling Xiao's earth dragon constitution had completely broken through to the complete realm. His entire body was flawless and his physical strength was unparalleled. Moreover, there seemed to be a mysterious and vast dragon power flowing in his blood. It made his every move like a real dragon. Before he killed his opponent, he would seize his opponent's soul. 5 elements sky ceiling style. Ling Xiao's fist was like a mountain. It was vast and majestic. He used the sky-devouring golden lotus to mobilize the 5 elements origin energy of heaven and earth. In an instant, a vast fist aura realm was formed. The 5 elements divine light filled the air. With Ling Xiao as the center, a mysterious realm seemed to appear around him. When the black tortoise entered this realm, his body was instantly suppressed. What made the black tortoise feel uncomfortable was that this realm seemed to have isolated the power of heaven and earth. The power that erupted from his iron staff was instantly reduced by 50%. Boom! Ling Xiao's fist landed on the iron staff. It was as if an archean ferocious beast had crashed into it. The black tortoise felt an unparalleled force coming at him. The river diagram began to emit rays of spiritual light to counteract the attack of that terrifying force. Bang! 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 Ling Xiao's fist landed one after another. The 5 elements sky ceiling style isolated all forces, causing the black tortoise to become extremely weak. It was as if he had been reduced to a punching bag. In an instant, Ling Xiao had landed dozens of punches on him. However, the river diagram on his body was like the strongest shield. It blocked all the forces that erupted from Ling Xiao's fists. Ling Xiao, I have the river diagram. You can't kill me. On the contrary, you'll die. No one can save you. The black tortoise's eyes were blazing with killing intent as he roared. He knew that Ling Xiao was extremely talented and had great combat strength. He could even kill the Tiger King. However, when he really fought with Ling Xiao, he felt that he had underestimated him. When this young man fought, he was simply like a demon god. He erupted with power that made heaven and earth tremble. His endless methods made the black tortoise feel incomparably fearful. This young man must not be allowed to live. Otherwise he would become a huge threat. Therefore the black tortoise was even more determined to kill Ling Xiao. Descend of the black tortoise. Destroy the world. The black tortoise roared. Suddenly, black divine light surged around his body. An ancient and mysterious aura awakened from his body. Countless black chi gushed out and broke free from the five-element sky-ceiling styles realm in an instant. The black tortoise stood in the void. The vast sea behind him bobbed up and down. A huge black tortoise slowly appeared as if it had come from another world. It emitted a force that caused the void to tremble. The spirit of the black tortoise had descended. Chapter 358. Roar. An earth-shattering roar resounded. It was as if the sky had been shattered. The vast sea covered the sky and covered the earth. The huge black tortoise looked very ferocious as it rushed towards Ling Xiao to suppress him. This is the power of the black tortoise's bloodline? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he looked at the Xuanwu in the sky. The Xuanwu's body was shining brightly, and its blood qi was surging. A mysterious power had awakened in its blood, and it had formed a mysterious connection with the Xuanwu. This was the power of the black tortoise's bloodline. It contained the destructive power of the ancient black tortoise. It was also the strongest trump card of the black tortoise. After the black tortoise appeared, even Su Liangqing, He Qing, and the others had a serious look on their faces. I didn't expect the black tortoise's bloodline to be so pure that it could trigger the power of the black tortoise's ancestor. Ling Xiao is in danger. Phoenix Woman's eyes flashed. The black tortoise was usually very low-key. Phoenix Woman had only seen the true power of the black tortoise today. With the power of the black tortoise's bloodline, and the protection of the river diagram, even Phoenix Woman knew that she was no match for the black tortoise. Ling Xiao's figure was so tiny in the face of the black tortoise in the sky. However, there was no fear in Ling Xiao's eyes. Instead, they were filled with a strong desire to fight. A terrifying aura rose from Ling Xiao's body. Boom! Ling Xiao punched out, and it was as if 6 holes gushing with divine light had appeared behind him, faintly leading to an unknown world. Mysterious laws spread out. A domineering aura, as if everything was under his control, shot towards the black tortoise in the sky. 6 paths of reincarnation. Ling Xiao's eyes shone with golden light. Blood qi surged from his body. A powerful dragon aura spread out, making Ling Xiao look like a real dragon. Boom! A huge fist print flew across the sky and hit the black tortoise in the sky. The 6 paths of reincarnation spread out, as if it was going to turn the world into chaos. Roar! The black tortoise's body was tens of thousands of feet long, terrifying beyond compare. Around its body, a black vortex spread out. It opened its mouth and swallowed Ling Xiao's fist. At the same time, a powerful suction force appeared. Sand and pebbles flew everywhere as the ancient trees exploded. The ferocious mouth opened and swallowed Ling Xiao into the black tortoise's stomach. Up in the sky, the black tortoise's aura was monstrous. It was ancient and mysterious. Ling Xiao was swallowed just like that. Someone exclaimed, his voice trembling with disbelief. Everyone's face turned pale. The black tortoise in the sky was too oppressive. Even though everyone knew that it was only the power of the black tortoise's bloodline, they still couldn't help but tremble, as expected of the bloodline of the black tortoise. No matter how strong Ling Xiao's talent is, it's impossible for him to be a match for the spirit of the black tortoise. He's dead for sure now. What a pity, a genius has fallen just like that. The Golden Wind and Jade Dew must have fallen into the hands of the Wan Shou sect. What a pity. Everyone was discussing among themselves, their voices filled with sighs. Ling Xiao is finally dead. I knew he was no match for Senior Black Tortoise. It's too easy for him to die just like that. It's all right. Once we find the disciples of the Chongsun sect, we'll kill them all and let the entire Chongsun sect be buried with Senior Tiger King. Only death awaits those who dare to go against the Wan Shou sect. Many of the disciples of the Chongsun sect had cold looks in their eyes. They knew that this was the right outcome. Moreover, in the battle between Ling Xiao and the Black Tortoise, they could see how terrifying Ling Xiao's potential was. Ling Xiao was an entire cultivation realm lower than the black tortoise. In the end, the black tortoise had no choice but to unleash the power of the black tortoise's bloodline in order to swallow Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao died just like that? Second elder, didn't you say that this kid is not simple? Zhao Ritian's eyes widened in disbelief. The spirit of the black tortoise is too strong. Ling Xiao's cultivation is too weak. Something's not right. The old voice of the second elder could be heard. However, it instantly exuded a wave of shock. Boom. Right at this moment, the black tortoise in the sky started to tremble violently. A loud explosion could be heard as the black tortoise exploded in the sky. Golden light shone brightly and chaotic energy filled the air. 6 mysterious worlds shot up into the sky. It was an unparalleled fist print. It pierced through the sky and destroyed everything in its path. It rushed out from the black tortoise's stomach, accompanied by a golden figure. That's Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao didn't die. Everyone was in an uproar. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. Not only did Ling Xiao not die, he even killed the black tortoise with a single punch from its stomach. Poof! The black tortoise was formed from the power of the black tortoise's bloodline. After being killed by Ling Xiao's punch, the black tortoise suffered quite a bit of backlash. It spat out a mouthful of blood and instantly became weak. How is this possible? The black tortoise's eyes were filled with disbelief. He had summoned the black tortoise. Not to mention Ling Xiao, the black tortoise was confident that it could injure or even kill a level 9 celestial realm expert. How could Ling Xiao be unharmed? Whoosh! Dazzling golden light streaked across the sky. Ling Xiao clenched his fist and charged at the black tortoise. His eyes were indifferent. Ling Xiao's speed was so fast that the sky was filled with his afterimages. The black tortoise had no chance to defend itself and was instantly hit in the chest by Ling Xiao's punch. Bang! The black tortoise flew back dozens of feet. The runes on its chest flickered and offset the power of Ling Xiao's punch. The red cloak on the black tortoise flickered as if it had suffered a heavy blow. The river diagram played a role in blocking Ling Xiao's punch at the critical moment. Although the black tortoise was sent flying, it did not suffer any injuries. Boom! 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 Ling Xiao's speed was getting faster and faster. As he descended from the sky, he threw out hundreds of punches in an instant. The golden fist imprint was incomparably dazzling, like a golden divine dragon, containing an indomitable and terrifying aura. Ling Xiao, who had used the teleportation secret skill, was extremely fast. After the black tortoise fell into a disadvantageous position, it did not have any chance to defend itself. In an instant, it was hit by Ling Xiao's hundreds of punches. The river diagram was like a watery light that enveloped the black tortoise. The runes spread and offset Ling Xiao's fist. However, the black tortoise felt extremely aggrieved. Its eyes were filled with anger. Chapter 359. Black Tortoise's heart trembled in disbelief. How could Ling Xiao be so strong? He was like a dragon in human form. His physical strength was limitless. He was no match for Ling Xiao even when he fully unleashed his black tortoise bloodline. If it wasn't for the river diagram, he would have died in Ling Xiao's hands. Watch me break your tortoise shell. Ling Xiao's eyes were cold as a terrifying aura surrounded him. It landed on Black Tortoise as he prepared to strike. Ling Xiao, I'm undefeatable with the river diagram. You must have used some kind of forbidden technique. I don't believe you can keep erupting with such terrifying power. I'll kill you once your power recedes. Black Tortoise roared. His gaze towards Ling Xiao was filled with resentment and humiliation. Is that so? Little guy, the river diagram isn't something you can control. At this moment, a complacent voice rang out. There was a flash of light in the air, and the old goat appeared. Whoosh! The river diagram on Black Tortoise's body trembled violently at this moment. Dazzling divine light gushed out, and turned into a stream of light. It broke free from Black Tortoise's control, and landed on the old goat. The old goat wore a cloak formed by the river diagram. His fur was shiny and he looked majestic. His eyes were filled with complacency as he enjoyed everyone's shocked gazes. My river diagram. No. Black Tortoise's expression changed drastically as he lost control of the river diagram in an instant. He screamed in agony as his vision darkened, and he almost fell down. He couldn't figure it out at all. He had used the river diagram to keep the old goat, so he should have refined the old goat into ashes by now. How could the old goat have quietly escaped from the river diagram's control, and even seized control of the river diagram? Boom! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed coldly as he threw a punch at Black Tortoise's abdomen. Crack! Black Tortoise's black armor was also a powerful bejeweled weapon. At this moment, it emitted a dazzling brilliance and exploded in an instant. Black Tortoise's body suddenly arched like a cooked prawn. He coughed up large mouthfuls of blood, and his aura became extremely weak. How terrifying was Ling Xiao's punch! The unparalleled power destroyed the Black Tortoise's meridians and shook his organs, causing his entire body to tremble. Whoosh! The Black Tortoise's body turned into a stream of light, and suddenly fell to the ground below. A cold glint flashed across Ling Xiao's eyes as he prepared to kill the Black Tortoise in one go. However, Ling Xiao suddenly felt a sense of danger. His back was extremely cold, as though he was being targeted by a venomous snake. Without thinking, he used a secret teleportation technique and moved to the surroundings. Chi! A dark blue light flashed. Unparalleled sword light instantly erupted from where Ling Xiao had been. Even though Ling Xiao had dodged quickly, a bloody gash had appeared on his back. Cough cough. Black Tortoise's face was very pale, and he kept coughing up blood. His eyes were full of hatred. When had he ever suffered such humiliation? Not only was the river diagram taken away, but he was also beaten like a dead dog by Ling Xiao. Although Black Tortoise kept a low profile in the Wanshou sect, he was very proud. Such a proud person was defeated by Ling Xiao. That feeling was simply driving him crazy, and he hated Ling Xiao to the extreme. Who do you think you are? You dare to make me kneel? If you all kneel down and beg for mercy, maybe I will spare your lives, otherwise all of you will die. Ling Xiao's eyes showed a trace of sharpness, and his voice was full of dominance. You're courting death. Su Liangqing's eyes turned cold, and a terrifying aura burst out from his body. He stretched out his hand and grabbed at Ling Xiao. Old bastard, if you have the ability to fight 300 rounds with this emperor guarantees to beat you into a dead dog. The old goat roared and was about to charge at Su Liangqing. But at this moment, a mysterious aura spread out. Ling Xiao stood on the golden wind jade dew pond, his body emitting a faint light, and symbols flashed in the void. He slapped the void, and the entire golden wind jade dew pond began to tremble. Chapter 360. Ling Xiao, you're courting death. Su Liangqing's expression changed as he had a bad feeling about this. He unleashed all of his cultivation and charged towards Ling Xiao. He felt that Ling Xiao was doing something very dangerous. If he couldn't stop Ling Xiao, something very troublesome would appear. Boom! Thunder exploded in the void as the golden wind jade dew pond emitted a dazzling divine light. Mysterious runes filled the air as powerful figures walked out from the golden wind jade dew pond, exuding a vast and terrifying aura. They were figures in broken armor. Their entire bodies were filled with killing intent. Their bodies were illusory, as if they were souls. They were incomparably gloomy and cold, as if they had come from the endless passage of time. Their bodies emitted an endless terrifying battle intent. Ling Xiao grabbed the eager old goat, and plunged into the golden wind jade dew pond. At the same time, a dazzling brilliance shrouded Ling Xiao and the old goat. Boy, what are you doing? Why are you grabbing my tail? Hey, are these ancient battle spirits? The old goat's face was filled with displeasure when Ling Xiao grabbed its tail. However, when it saw the terrifying figures, its eyes suddenly widened and its mouth opened wide. Ancient battle spirits were special existences formed by the battle intent of the ancient experts after they died in battle, and intertwined with the laws of heaven and earth. A battle spirit was not a soul form, nor was it a life form. It was only an unyielding fighting spirit that contained an extremely strong killing intent. Its combat strength was incomparably formidable. The golden wind jade dew pond was originally formed from the corpse of a god. And the place where a god died in battle is also the easiest place to condense a battle spirit. In the past, the ancestors of the longevity mystic realm used the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pond as the foundation to form a resting place for their battle spirits. They were also the guardians of the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pond. I just awakened them. Now let's see who runs faster. The slower one will die. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. The coldness in his voice made the old goat shudder involuntarily. This boy was too cunning. The people of the Wanshou sect were going to be screwed over by Ling Xiao. The old goat cursed inwardly. Rumble. The battle spirits were awakened by Ling Xiao and walked out of the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pond. There were more than a dozen of them, and each of them had an incomparably powerful aura. This caused Su Liangqing and He Qing's expressions to change drastically. Not good, let's go. Although Su Liangqing didn't know what these battle spirits were, the ancient battle spirits emitted fluctuations that made Su Liangqing's heart tremble. Without even thinking, he roared at the crowd and was about to leap into the distance. Rumble. A battle spirit targeted Su Liangqing. The azure dragon crescent blade in Zhang Ling's hand was incomparably sharp. It cut through the air and slashed down towards Su Liangqing. It was like the Milky Way from the highest heavens, snow-white and resplendent, its infernal energy overflowing the heavens. Su Liangqing's complexion changed. Seeing that the road ahead was blocked, he could only grit his teeth and slash out with the ancient blue sword in his hand, wanting to finish off this battle spirit. However, the others weren't so lucky. The weakest of these battle spirits was only at the Grandmaster realm, but their combat strength was extremely powerful. Those who coveted the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pond were unwilling to leave, and instantly suffered a calamity. Several ancient battle spirits swept over, holding a long iron spear and a ghost head broadsword. Unparalleled divine power erupted, and immediately, several martial artists were cut in half at the waist, their bodies turning into a mist of blood. What are these things? Huang Haifeng, Phoenix Maiden, Zhao Ritian, and the others were all shocked. They didn't even think about it, and wanted to run away. However, the speed of these battle spirits was extremely fast. Moreover, their killing intent was blazing and pure, containing an incomparably majestic power, and they chased after the crowd. Help! Don't kill me! Screams sounded one after another. These dozen battle spirits were like tigers in a flock of sheep. No one could withstand their might. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of people fell into a pool of blood. Flesh and blood splattered everywhere, and severed limbs could be seen everywhere. This swamp seemed to have turned into an Azura hell. Damn it, how can these ancient battle spirits be so terrifying? In the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pond, the old goat felt his scalp tingle as he secretly clicked his tongue. There were a few terrifying ancient battle spirits that exuded an aura comparable to that of a half-step to the noble realm. The old goat felt that he was definitely no match for them. Rumble. The ancient battle spirits chased after the crowd. Their eyes were cold, and their expressions were indifferent. It was as if there was no emotion, only a strong fighting intent and killing instinct. Young master, hurry up and leave. I'll stop them. The old servant behind Huang Haifeng had a determined look in his eyes. His blood essence and flesh burned as he pounced on one of the battle spirits. At this moment, Huang Haifeng was so scared that his face turned pale. He didn't have any fighting intent left. He hated that he didn't have two more legs and quickly fled into the distance. As for his old servant, although he was of the celestial realm and had burned his life origin, he only resisted for a moment before he was killed by the ancient battle spirit. Old goat, stay here obediently and don't move. Those ancient battle spirits don't recognize you. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed coldly as he warned the old goat. He rushed out of the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pond and rushed toward Huang Haifeng. Ling Xiao didn't intend to let anyone who came here today go. The ancient battle spirits didn't seem to sense Ling Zhao's aura. Ling Xiao was unimpeded and caught up with Huang Haifeng in an instant. Rumble. Ling Xiao didn't say anything. His expression was cold as he punched out. The terrifying power seemed to tear the void apart. Ling Xiao? Why aren't you afraid of those damn things? Huang Haifeng let out a blood-curdling scream. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Ling Zhao's fist landed on his back in an instant, causing all the defensive artifacts on his body to explode. Pfft. Ling Xiao, don't kill me, don't kill me. If you kill me, my father won't let you go. Huang Haifeng suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood as he screamed. However, Ling Xiao didn't say anything to him, and slapped down. Boom. A terrifying power exploded, and Huang Haifeng's body was directly smashed into a bloody mist by Ling Xiao, completely exploding. Ling Xiao's hand flashed and grabbed Huang Haifeng's storage weapon. His body turned into a stream of light and rushed toward Black Tortoise. Ling Xiao, what are you doing? The Black Tortoise's expression changed. He was already heavily injured. At this moment, he and He Qing were fleeing into the distance. Behind them, there was already a battle spirit chasing after them. But the road ahead was blocked by soaring firmament. I'll send you to see the Tiger King, Ling Xiao said indifferently as he punched toward Black Tortoise and He Qing. The blazing fist print soared into the sky, containing a majestic dragon's might. It was like a blazing sun in the sky, unstoppable. Chapter 361. Violent Dragon Superpower, Quadruple Combat Strength. The reason why Ling Xiao was able to destroy the Black Tortoise so easily was because he had used the Berserk Dragon Divine ability. Ling Xiao's physical body was now perfect and flawless. The Violent Dragon Superpower could even suppress a peak rank 6 demonic beast, let alone the severely injured Black Tortoise and the panicking He Qing. Ling Xiao, the sect master will not let you go. You and the people of the Changsun sect will all die. He Qing roared and threw out a palm strike with all his might. However, it was instantly destroyed by Ling Xiao's punch. Ling Xiao's eyes were cold as he ignored the roars of Black Tortoise and He Qing. His unparalleled fist print fell, and instantly enveloped the two of them. Boom. Black Tortoise and He Qing were directly blasted into a mist of blood by Ling Xiao's punch. Their souls were also directly devoured by the sky-devouring Golden Lotus. Black Tortoise and He Qing completely disappeared from the world. They did not even have the chance to be reincarnated. Their souls were scattered. Ling Xiao. He actually dared to kill Black Tortoise and Elder He Qing? He will not rest until he is dead. This is a hatred that will not rest until he is dead. Everyone's eyes were filled with horror. However, in the blink of an eye, they did not have the time to care about Ling Xiao's killing because the ancient fighting spirits had rushed over and killed countless experts, especially the disciples of the Wanshou sect. Ling Xiao used the teleportation secret technique to move freely between heaven and earth. Those who wanted to escape from the ancient fighting spirits all died in Ling Xiao's hands. Ling Xiao, go to hell. Su Liangqing was completely crazy. His face was ferocious and his eyes were filled with killing intent. The disciples of the Wanshou sect were all dead, which made his eyes turn red. The two ancient fighting spirits that surrounded Su Liangqing were extremely powerful. In the blink of an eye, Su Liangqing was at a disadvantage. Boom. Su Liangqing's body suddenly emitted a black divine light and completely burned. A monstrous wave swept across the sky and forced the two ancient fighting spirits to retreat. Su Liangqing took the opportunity to attack Ling Xiao. His eyes were filled with crazy killing intent. He hated Ling Xiao to the extreme. Everything was caused by Ling Xiao. Even if he had to die, he would kill Ling Xiao first. The dark blue ancient sword was like a long blue river, containing the aura of death and destruction. It was like the king of hell, ready to harvest all life. Su Liangqing burned his life source and his aura became extremely terrifying. In an instant, he exploded with the power of a noble plane cultivator. Even Ling Xiao felt threatened. However, Ling Xiao's expression did not change. He stood in the air and watched as Su Liangqing charged over. His eyes were filled with mockery. Kill Ling Xiao. As long as Ling Xiao is killed, perhaps these ancient battle spirits will collapse on their own. Su Liangqing's eyes lit up, and the only thought in his mind was to kill Ling Xiao. The blue ancient sword shone with an eternal light, and Su Liangqing slashed out with the strongest sword strike of his life. Rumble. The sword radiance was unparalleled and terrifying. It landed on Ling Xiao's body as if it was going to tear him into pieces. However, at this moment an ancient sword appeared in Ling Xiao's hand. It was filled with an ancient aura. The body of the sword had the shadows of the sun, moon, stars, mountains, rivers, and all life. It was like a sword of heaven, containing the power of law. Sky-devouring sword. As if it had felt Ling Xiao's strong battle intent, the sky-devouring sword began to buzz and vibrate. Rays of light pierced through the void, containing a terrifying killing intent. Rumble. Ling Xiao slowly raised the sky-devouring sword. The entire world began to rumble. Ling Xiao's aura became stronger and stronger, and it began to emit a terrifying aura. It was domineering, mysterious, and majestic. It could swallow the world. When the sky-devouring sword was completely raised, Su Liangqing's sword was already in front of Ling Xiao. However, at this moment, the scene before Su Liangqing changed drastically. He felt as if his sword had slashed through the air. Ling Xiao, who was opposite him, no longer existed in this world. It was a strange world in front of him. The terrifying dark blue sword radiance melted like snow. Swish. An unparalleled sword light descended at an extremely fast speed. The surrounding heaven and earth turned into a vast expanse of white. When the light dissipated, everyone saw Ling Xiao standing in the void. The ancient sword in his hand had disappeared. His expression was calm, and his aura was ethereal. Su Liangqing, who was opposite him, maintained the posture of drawing his sword. His eyes were filled with disbelief. "What sword is that?" Su Liangqing asked. "It's called Sky-devouring sword." Ling Xiao replied calmly. "Sky-devouring sword? Sky-devouring sword? It's actually Sky-devouring sword." Su Liangqing muttered to himself. In the end, his eyes revealed a trace of fear. Boom. Su Liangqing's entire body exploded, turning into the tiniest powder. When the wind blew, it completely disappeared into the void. It seems like the Wanshou sect knows something. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of sharpness. Others were confused by Su Liangqing's last sentence, but Ling Xiao understood. Su Liangqing recognized the sky-devouring sword. This also meant that the Wanshou sect knew about the Chongsun sect's situation, and was familiar with the sky-devouring sovereign. Ling Xiao was getting more and more curious. Who was the one who left behind the legacy of the Wanshou sect? The peerless sword that Ling Xiao used to kill Su Liangqing had completely suppressed the people who had lost their fighting spirit. Under the suppression of the ancient fighting spirits, blood-curdling screams could be heard. The air was filled with a thick smell of blood. Soon, almost all of them died in the hands of the ancient fighting spirits. In the end, only Phoenix Woman and Zhao Ritian were left. They were still fighting with the two ancient fighting spirits. However, when the other fighting spirits surrounded them, the pressure on Phoenix Woman and Zhao Ritian increased. "Seniors, please stand down." Ling Xiao sighed softly. A mysterious rune fell from his hand. When the fighting spirits came into contact with the rune, their eyes revealed a trace of clarity. They looked at Ling Xiao with a complicated expression before returning to the golden wind jade dew pool. "Ling Xiao, what are you trying to do? If you want to kill me, just kill me. If I frown, I'm not the Phoenix Woman." Phoenix Woman said coldly as she looked at Ling Xiao. On the other hand, Zhao Ritian lowered his head and rolled his eyes. No one knew what he was thinking. Phoenix Woman and Zhao Ritian did not choose to run away. Ling Xiao's shocking sword had almost exploded with the power of a noble realm cultivator. The sword that killed Su Liangqing made their hearts tremble. Ling Xiao ignored Phoenix Woman and looked at Zhao Ritian's Emperor War Chariot. This Emperor War Chariot only had the power of a low-grade Dao weapon. Some of the runes on it were broken, and it gave off an ancient and vicissitude aura. Zhao Ritian was shocked. He thought that Ling Xiao was going to attack him. He quickly smiled and said, "Young Master Ling, do you like this Emperor War Chariot? This is a treasure that I obtained in the secret territory. It can travel 100,000 miles in a day. It's extremely fast and it's very cool. At that time, I felt that only young Master Ling was worthy of it. I decisively removed the mark that I left on the Emperor War Chariot." The Emperor War Chariot flashed and flew towards Ling Xiao. Chapter 362. Zhao Ritian's face was full of smiles, but his heart was bleeding. This was the most precious Dao artifact that he had obtained in the Longevity Secret Territory. Even the Sun Moon Star sect did not have a powerful Dao artifact like the Emperor War Chariot. In the end, he gave it away to save his life. Moreover, No matter how much Zhao Ritian called out to the second master, that bastard was nowhere to be seen. He did not even reply to him. Zhao Ritian guessed that the second master might have been frightened by Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao looked at Zhao Ritian with a faint smile on his face. Zhao Ritian's face froze for a moment before a smile appeared on his face. There was a tinge of anxiety in his eyes. If this fiend in front of him were to really make a move, even he, Zhao Ritian, would not be able to withstand it. All right, I'll take it since you're so sincere. You can go now. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. A light flashed in his hand, and the Emperor War Chariot was kept in his longevity ring. Young Master Ling, I won't disturb you any longer. Zhao Ritian looked at the Emperor War Chariot with a pained expression. He turned around and ran, afraid that Ling Xiao would regret it. Ling Xiao, what are you trying to do? Finally, Ling Xiao's gaze landed on the Phoenix Lady. She was shocked and took 2 steps back. The young man in front of her looked handsome and had a bright smile. However, in the eyes of the Phoenix Lady, he was a demon. So many disciples of the Wansho sect had died in his hands. Do you hate me very much now? Ling Xiao smiled and took a step closer to the Phoenix Lady. Phoenix Girl was slightly stunned, thinking about it carefully. Although Ling Xiao had killed countless Wansho sect disciples, even He Qing, Black Tortoise, and Su Liangqing had died at his hands, Phoenix Girl did not hate Ling Xiao. While the Phoenix Lady was still in a daze, Ling Xiao had already approached her and sniffed her neck. Suddenly, the fragrance of a virgin filled the air. It was indescribably sweet. Bastard, what are you doing? The Phoenix Maiden's body stiffened, and her beautiful face immediately turned red. She looked at Ling Xiao with eyes full of shame and anger. Her figure was already very hot to begin with, and at this moment, under the undulation of her heart, her chest was surging like waves, and her white peaks were moving up and down, emitting endless temptation. Although the Phoenix Girl looked very flirtatious on the surface and liked to tease others, she was still very conservative on the inside. Now that she was startled by Ling Xiao's intimate actions, her mind was in a mess. It really is the Dark Phoenix body. Ling Xiao nodded, a look of understanding in his eyes. His gaze was very clear, without any hint of filth. Black Phoenix body? What's the Dark Phoenix constitution? Phoenix Girl was stunned. She thought Ling Xiao was going to do something to her. She was even prepared to die rather than submit. In the end, Ling Xiao said something that confused her. Ling Xiao's gaze swept across Phoenix Girl's body. It was as if he could see through her body, causing her to feel uncomfortable. Bastard, what are you trying to do? If you want to kill me, then kill me. If you want, then I'll castrate you. Phoenix Girl was about to go crazy from Ling Xiao's gaze, and she said angrily, when you cultivate recently, do your perineum true qi become chaotic on full moon nights? Do you have spring water surging, and do you have erotic dreams? Ling Xiao smiled faintly. How did you know? Phoenix Girl's body trembled, and her eyes revealed a look of disbelief. Ling Xiao was talking about a problem that had been troubling her. Recently, she had been tormented to the point of insanity. She was still a virgin, and she didn't even know what was wrong with her. Why would she have such thoughts and have such embarrassing dreams? Moreover, when you cultivate in the afternoon, the vermilion bird true qi in your Dantian sea of qi would boil and flow throughout your body. It would be as painful as being burned by a raging fire, and you would need to expend a lot of energy to suppress it. Recently, it's getting harder and harder to suppress it, right? Ling Xiao looked at Phoenix Girl and said, Do you know how to read fortunes? I've never told anyone about these symptoms. How did you know? Phoenix Girl was even more shocked, and her voice trembled. The dignified body of the Dark Phoenix is cultivating the vermilion bird true technique. If it weren't for your strong bloodline, I'm afraid you would have gone mad and died in a raging fire. Ling Xiao said faintly, and his eyes were full of wisdom. Phoenix Girl trembled, and her eyes revealed a trace of shock. She said, You're saying that I have the body of the Dark Phoenix? What kind of physique is the body of the Dark Phoenix? Why would my vermilion bird true technique have such symptoms? Ling Xiao's words almost broke Phoenix Girl's understanding of martial arts. Moreover, it concerned her life. Suddenly, she couldn't care less about her hostile relationship with Ling Xiao, and hurriedly asked, In ancient times, the True Dragon Clan, the Phoenix Clan, and other supreme mythical beasts were once the overlords of heaven and earth. They were extremely powerful. Within the Phoenix Clan, everyone only knows about the fire phoenix, which is the vermilion bird. They also know about the blue swan and the swan. These are all powerful mythical beasts of the Phoenix Clan. However, everyone doesn't know that the Phoenix Clan has a mutated phoenix called the Dark Phoenix. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Dark Phoenix? Could it be that its feathers are black? Is there a difference? Phoenix Girl asked aloud. Of course there's a difference. The Dark Phoenix is a mutated phoenix. In addition to its black feathers, its body can produce black flames of destruction. Its combat strength is unparalleled. If the Fire Phoenix is an extreme young mythical beast, then the Dark Phoenix is an extreme mythical beast. Do you understand? Ling Xiao said. Extreme mythical beast? Phoenix Girl's face instantly became incomparably ugly. The Vermilion Bird True technique was an extreme young technique. If she really had the body of the Dark Phoenix, cultivating the Vermilion Bird True technique was simply courting death. It turned out that Ling Xiao's words were not exaggerated. If this continued, she would sooner or later suffer from qi deviation. You were able to persist until now because your Dark Phoenix body is too powerful. Its strength can suppress the Vermilion Bird True technique. However, now that the two have reached the point where they are like fire and water, when your Vermilion Bird True technique is improved, I'm afraid that the Dark Phoenix body will not be able to suppress it. At that time, Ling Xiao stopped and didn't continue speaking. However, Phoenix Girl understood that there was only one outcome, and that was qi deviation. Dark Phoenix body. If I really have the Dark Phoenix body, the sect leader will definitely tell me. Ling Xiao, don't think that you can fool me. Although Phoenix Girl was 80% convinced, she still felt that Ling Xiao was fooling her. You should know best whether I'm lying to you or not. The sect leader you're talking about is the Black Dragon King? He's just a noble realm cultivator. He doesn't have the ability to recognize the Dark Phoenix body. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of arrogance. Chapter 363. You're bluffing. Phoenix Girl pouted. If the Black Dragon King didn't know, how could this young man know? Even if the Black Dragon King knew, he wouldn't tell you. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He looked at the Phoenix Lady with sympathy in his eyes. Why wouldn't he tell me? Phoenix Girl was stunned. Do you know what happens when a Black Phoenix cultivates the Vermilion Bird True technique? It's fine if you go berserk, but your Black Phoenix body contains terrifying primordial energy. Although the Black Dragon King doesn't know that you have a Black Phoenix body, he knows the primordial energy in your body. It's fine if a Black Phoenix cultivates the Vermilion Bird True technique and goes berserk. But what's worse is that under the influence of the Vermilion Bird True technique, the primordial energy in your body will grow stronger and stronger. When your primordial energy reaches its peak, it'll be like a ripe fruit. Once it's plucked by someone, your cultivation will become nourishment for someone else. That feeling is worse than death. Ling Xiao glanced at Phoenix Maiden. Phoenix Maiden's body was already trembling, and her eyes were filled with disbelief. Impossible, I don't believe it. You must be lying to me. The sect leader treats me like his own child. He wouldn't do this to me. Phoenix Girl's shoulders trembled and her face turned pale. Her eyes were filled with disbelief and sorrow. This was the feeling of countless years of faith suddenly collapsing. It felt as if her entire body was being torn apart, and her primordial spirit was shattered. She was a walking corpse with no hope left. Ling Xiao couldn't bear to hurt her, but he still sighed softly. The Black Dragon King has been stuck at the 9th level of the noble realm for decades, right? Ling Xiao's words were the last straw that broke the camel's back. Phoenix Girl was stunned and her face was drained of blood. The Black Dragon King was the strongest person in the Wanshou sect. He was a peerless figure who could look down on the 8 Desolation region. However, before Phoenix Girl joined the Wanshou sect, he was already a 9th level noble realm expert. After so many years, there were still no signs of a breakthrough. If what Ling Xiao said was true, then the Black Dragon King had already started planning this after Phoenix Girl joined the sect. Ling Xiao stood there and looked at Phoenix Maiden with a calm expression. After a long time, the Phoenix Maiden's expression slowly returned to normal. She looked at Ling Xiao charmingly and smiled. Little brother, you only know how to scare big sister. Can you help big sister resolve the problem of the dark phoenix body? Although Phoenix Maiden pretended to be calm, Ling Xiao could still see a trace of hidden coldness and anger in her eyes. Of course I have a way. But why should I save you? Ling Xiao smiled faintly, revealing a mouthful of white and beautiful teeth. With such a beautiful woman in front of you, could it be that you really have the heart to watch big sister go crazy? The Phoenix Maiden looked at Ling Xiao with resentment. Her large, soul-stealing eyes could almost steal a person's soul away. It's very simple to get rid of your dark phoenix constitution. As long as you cultivate the Phoenix Clan's supreme true Phoenix secret technique, not only will you be able to avoid the danger of chi deviation, but you will also be able to completely transform your black phoenix body. Even becoming a supreme being in the future is not impossible. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. True Phoenix secret technique? Could it be that you have such a technique? The Phoenix Maiden's face was full of disbelief. The Phoenix Clan's supreme technique was at least a supreme martial art. She did not think that Ling Xiao would have such a technique. The true Phoenix secret technique is a god-tier technique that surpasses the supreme martial art. Naturally, I don't have it. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Then what's the point of telling me this? The Phoenix Maiden rolled her eyes. I don't have it now, but I will have it soon. As long as you are willing to be my maid, I can pass this technique to you. Ling Xiao said slowly. Just like the ancestral dragon secret technique was the supreme technique of the true dragon clan, the true Phoenix secret technique was also the supreme technique of the Phoenix clan. Coincidentally, the textless heavenly book had the true Phoenix secret technique. The true Phoenix secret technique was ranked second among the 72 Earth Fiend secret techniques, second only to the ancestral dragon secret technique. Ling Xiao had previously discovered that when the Phoenix Maiden used the vermilion bird true technique, it would attract the attention of the textless heavenly book. He guessed that the vermilion bird true technique might be a part of the true Phoenix secret technique. Be your maid? Dream on. The Phoenix Maiden rolled her eyes and said. She was the heaven's pride of the Wan Shou sect. Her talent was peerless and famous throughout the 8 Desolates region. Who had the qualifications to say that they would accept her as the Phoenix Maiden? Ling Xiao was simply a lunatic. Ling Xiao glanced at the Phoenix Maiden indifferently and said, You are a heaven's pride and many people like you. But in my eyes you are nothing. The 8 Desolates region is too small. Compared to the War God continent, the 8 Desolates region is like a small puddle. Although your talent is not bad, compared to the peerless heaven's pride of the War God continent, it is nothing. Be my maid and I will take you out of the 8 Desolates region, conquer the War God continent, and ascend to the supreme position. At that time, the Black Dragon King will be just an ant that can be destroyed with a flip of my hand. You only have one chance, think carefully. At this moment, the old goat appeared out of nowhere. The river diagram had been completely refined by the old goat, and turned into a cloak that draped over the old goat's body. It looked very majestic. The old goat said lazily, Little girl, it is your fortune to be this brat's maid. Do you know who his master is? The sky-devouring supreme of the Changshan sect. He was a peerless expert 10,000 years ago. He is also this emperor's brother. Think about it carefully. If you miss this opportunity, you will regret it for the rest of your life. Ling Xiao rolled his eyes. The old goat really had no control over his mouth, spilling everything out. What? The disciple of the sky-devouring supreme? This news caused the Phoenix Maiden to tremble. Her eyes were filled with incomparable shock. No wonder Ling Xiao's talent was so terrifying. In such a short period of time, he was like a shooting star that overshadowed all the peerless geniuses in the 8 Desolates region. Only a peerless expert like the sky-devouring supreme could nurture such a monstrous disciple. Thinking of this, the Phoenix Maiden's gaze towards Ling Xiao changed. Think about it carefully. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and turned towards the depths of the Changshan secret territory. The golden wind jade Dupont slowly sank into the ground. After a period of time, It would continue to condense the golden wind jade dew pond. The old goat wore a red cape and swung his hooves, following behind Ling Xiao coquettishly. Continue to brag. The sky-devouring supreme has already passed away. Why would he accept a disciple like you? I will expose your true face with my own hands. The phoenix maiden snorted coldly. She stomped her feet and chased after Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao sensed that the phoenix maiden was following him, and a smile appeared on his face. It was not a waste of breath. Although this shrewish girl was stubborn, she was already convinced by Ling Xiao. It was only a matter of time before she would submit to him. The reason why Ling Xiao had wasted so much time was because the Black Phoenix physique was too strong. Even in the War God continent, a person with such a physique would be considered a peerless genius. As long as such a person appeared, the various holy lands would go crazy and fight over it. In the entire 8 Desolates region, only Shui Wei's 9 Nether bloodline could be compared to the Black Phoenix constitution. It was only a matter of time before she became a supreme. Chapter 364. Rumble. A dazzling divine light soared into the sky and exploded in the sky. It emitted millions of rays of light. The light of treasures pervaded the air and propitious vapors rose. It was as if the treasury of heaven and earth had been opened. It was extremely grand. The longevity treasury has opened. Everyone in the longevity secret territory was excited. Someone saw a huge treasury rising from the ground in the depths of the secret territory, emitting dazzling light. The treasury was filled with the essence of heaven and earth. Some people saw powerful divine arts. Some saw divine pills that could bring the dead back to life. Some saw peerless weapons that could destroy heaven and earth. And some saw mountains of spirit crystals and oceans of spirit liquid. There were also countless heavenly materials and earthly treasures. It seems like the longevity treasury is the place of inheritance left behind by the longevity sect. There might be the inheritance of the longevity supremacy and the sky-devouring supremacy. Some people were so excited that they were trembling, and their eyes were shining. 10,000 years ago, the longevity sect was famous. The strongest of them were the longevity supremacy and the sky-devouring supremacy, both of whom were among the top 10 titled supremacies. The sky-devouring secret technique and the longevity supremacy scripture were the strongest martial arts in the world. If one could get the inheritance of the longevity supremacy and the sky-devouring supremacy, there was a high chance that one could reach the supremacy realm in the future. The supremacy could live for 10,000 years. This was a temptation that many people could not resist. Martial artists went against the heavens and comprehended the mysteries of heaven and earth. Among them, the most important temptation was longevity. Although Jizun hadn't reached the legendary realm of immortality, a lifespan of 10,000 years was enough to drive countless people crazy. The longevity treasury is in the east. Let's go. Let's go. This is the peerless inheritance of the longevity sect. We won't get anything if we're late. Countless martial artists went crazy and headed towards the depths of the secret territory. They were all fantasizing about obtaining powerful martial arts or divine weapons and shocking the world. Not good. There's a peerless killing formation in the longevity treasury. Those who enter the treasury will either kill each other or be devoured by some unknown existence. It's too scary. The Eternal Spring Sect's Eternal Spring Sage is dead. He cut himself 38 times and even his heart was crushed by him. At this moment, the cultivators who had entered the longevity sect earlier sent news. The longevity treasury not only contained countless treasures, but also unimaginable dangers. Sage Eternal Spring of the longevity sect was said to have lived for several hundred years, and had long since reached the 9th level of the Sky Human stage. Yet he had died in the longevity treasury. Moreover, in such a short period of time, over 100 experts who had entered the longevity treasury had all died. Without exception, not even their corpses remained. Many of the cultivators who had been in a state of frenzy cleared their minds somewhat. Even so, they continued to charge into the longevity treasure hoard. However, they dared not enter the longevity treasure hoard. The longevity treasury? Ling Xiao, who was in the depths of the longevity secret territory, also heard the news. His eyes were filled with doubt. As far as he knew, although the longevity secret territory was a training ground for the longevity sect's disciples, there was no longevity treasury built inside. Could it be that Jin Se built this treasury to preserve the legacy of the Chongshan sect when the otherworldly demons invaded? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a glint. The longevity treasury? Ling Xiao, let's go quickly. There might be treasures that can heal Dao injuries inside. When my Dao injuries are fully healed and I become a supreme again, I'll help you slaughter the Wanshou sect. After hearing about the longevity treasury, the old goat's eyes lit up, and he began to urge Ling Xiao to hurry. You're just bragging. What supreme? You can't even defeat a noble realm expert. I heard that the longevity treasury is filled with dangers. Countless experts have died inside. You're just going to die if you go in like this. The Phoenix lady, who had been following behind Ling Xiao without saying a word, finally found an opportunity to mock the old goat. The old goat was not angry. He chuckled and said, "Little girl, when I shocked the world, your ancestors weren't even born yet. What's a mere killing formation to me? Just wait and see how I break that killing formation and take away all the treasures in the treasury. We can't be sure if it's the longevity treasury. Let's go take a look." Ling Xiao's eyes lit up, and he leaped in the direction of the longevity treasury. The longevity treasury was located in a huge valley. The valley was filled with mist and auspicious air. It looked very peaceful. The ancient trees in the valley towered into the sky, and the spiritual qi was like water. With a casual breath, spiritual qi would surge into one's body. In the valley, a huge treasury floated in the void. There were 4 golden words on it. The longevity treasury. The treasury was filled with resplendent light as countless precious heavenly treasures floated within. There were powerful divine weapons, precious pills with rich medicinal fragrance, and ancient books that emitted mysterious fluctuations. There were mountains of spirit crystals and rivers of spirit liquid that flowed slowly, causing people to be dazzled and bewildered. Countless experts had gathered in the valley, but no one dared to take a step forward. That was because all the experts who had entered the longevity treasury had died. When Ling Xiao arrived at the valley, he saw countless experts loitering around the longevity treasury. Every one of them had looks of greed on their faces. It's Ling Xiao? Why is the Phoenix lady of the Wanshou sect with him? How strange. The divine brilliance crown prince of the great Han ancient kingdom stood on top of a mountain peak. His eyes flashed as he looked at Ling Xiao with a trace of doubt. Beside him was a man who looked like a demon god. He wore a black demonic armor and held a halberd in his hand. His aura was wild and his eyes were cold. It was the young master of the Great Destruction sect, Mo Kong. Ling Xiao. Interesting. Mo Kong also indifferently glanced at Ling Xiao as a trace of cruelty appeared at the corner of his mouth. When the divine brilliance crown prince saw this, he knew that Mo Kong was angry. Who in the 8 Desolates region didn't know that Mo Kong liked the Phoenix lady? Even the sect master of the Great Destruction sect, the Great Destruction King, had proposed marriage to the Wanshou sect for Mo Kong. However, Mo Kong still treated the Phoenix lady as his exclusive property, and no one dared to have any ideas about her. Just the fact that the Phoenix lady and Ling Xiao were together was enough to kill Ling Xiao countless times. At the Golden Wind Jade Dew Pond, Ling Xiao had used the ancient battle spirit to kill countless experts. At that time, only Zhao Ritian and the Phoenix lady had survived. Everyone else had been slaughtered. Therefore, no one knew how terrifying Ling Xiao was. Otherwise, Mo Kong would have to reconsider himself. Although he was strong, he was still much weaker than Su Liangqing, a half-step noble realm expert. Chapter 365. Lord Tianyan is here. Is he preparing to enter the longevity treasury to break the formation? At that moment, a figure with a mysterious aura appeared in the longevity treasury, attracting everyone's attention. It was an elder in a yin-yang Taoist robe. He was hale and hearty, with white hair and a faint smile on his face. His eyes shone brightly as they fell on the longevity treasury. Greetings, Lord Tianyan. Can you break this killing formation? Greetings, Lord Tianyan. Many people walked up to greet the old man. Their eyes were filled with anticipation. Tianyan King was an individual cultivator. Although he was only half a step away from the noble realm, he was very accomplished in the art of matrices. It was said that he had once set up a super matrix and trapped a noble realm cultivator for 3 days and 3 nights. Lord Tianyan was even called the #1 formation grandmaster in the 8 Desolation region. The killing formation in the longevity treasury looked terrifying, but Lord Tianyan's arrival gave people hope. Ling Xiao, Lord Tianyan is here. It seems that the killing formation in the longevity treasury is about to be broken. The Phoenix Maiden's eyes were also filled with anticipation. Lord Tianyan? I'm afraid he doesn't have the ability to break the formation. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, his eyes shining brightly. For some reason, although this valley seemed to be steaming with auspicious air and auspicious aura, it gave Ling Xiao a very strange feeling. Moreover, there was a cold sense of danger everywhere. Relatively speaking, the danger in the longevity treasury was the least. Ling Xiao felt that it was very strange, but when he probed with the power of his primordial spirit, he did not find anything wrong. Fellow cultivators, I can only try my best since you think so highly of me. Lord Tianyan chuckled and walked slowly toward the longevity treasury. A mysterious aura spread around him, as if he had become one with the surrounding heaven and earth. This old man will die for sure, the old goat suddenly said with a solemn look in his eyes. Oh. Old goat, do you see anything? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he asked. This isn't the longevity treasury at all. It's a trap. What a cunning fellow. Even this emperor was almost fooled. The old goat's eyes were sparkling with a mysterious light beam that seemed to be able to destroy the void. A trap? Ling Xiao's expression changed, and his expression turned serious. He had just condensed his martial Dao primordial spirit, and did not have enough means to investigate. However, the old goat was different. In his previous life, Ling Xiao's formation skills were taught by the old goat. In terms of formation skills, the old goat was on par with Ling Xiao. If even the old goat could see that something was wrong, it meant that this place was indeed extremely dangerous. I can't say. I can feel that this is a trap, but I can't detect it. It can only mean that this fellow is too terrifying. He can even deceive this emperor. Kid, let's go quickly. Otherwise, we won't be able to leave in a while. The old goat's eyes were filled with seriousness as he spoke to Ling Xiao. What trap? You're just trying to scare me. I think King Tianyan will be able to break the formation in a while. Phoenix Girl curled her lips. The old goat looked at Phoenix Girl with disdain. He looked at her from head to toe until she felt uncomfortable. Then he spat out 4 words. Big-chested but brainless. Phoenix Girl was instantly enraged. She pointed at the old goat and said with a trembling voice, Old goat, who are you calling brainless? The old goat said leisurely, I'm talking about the one with the biggest chest. You. I'm going to kill you. Phoenix Girl was so angry that she trembled all over. She was about to charge at the old goat. Stop fooling around. King Tianyan is really going to die. Ling Xiao grabbed Phoenix Girl's hand and looked in King Tianyan's direction. His eyes revealed a trace of sharpness. Rumble. At this moment, King Tianyan had already entered the longevity treasury. His yin-yang Taoist robe emitted a mysterious light as if a Taiji Dao diagram had appeared behind him. It looked very mysterious. Step by step, he walked into the longevity treasury. Ripples spread out from the surrounding void. In front of Tianyan was an ancient mirror that emitted an incomparably resplendent light. King Tianyan really went in. Haha, I knew that the old man would definitely be able to break the array. Since King Tianyan has gone in, let's go in too. Let's go. Immediately, tens of cultivators were unable to stop themselves. Faces filled with excitement, they charged into the longevity treasure vault. A bunch of idiots. The old goat said leisurely. Phoenix Girl raised her eyebrows and wanted to mock him. For some reason, she did not like the old goat at all. That displeasure seemed to come from the depths of her bloodline. Rumble. However, the unforeseen event in the longevity treasury caused Phoenix Girl's expression to change drastically. King Tianyan, who was about to touch the ancient mirror, suddenly turned his head. His eyes were bloodshot and filled with madness. He grabbed the nearest warrior, and a terrifying power erupted from his body. Rumble. That warrior's eyes were filled with disbelief. He let out a miserable cry and was instantly torn to pieces by King Tianyan. Bloody mist filled the air and dyed King Tianyan's robe red. It made him look extremely ferocious. Murderous intent filled his body as he charged toward the warriors in the longevity treasury. Senior King Tianyan, what are you doing? Stop. I'm your disciple. King Tianyan, are you crazy? Inside the longevity treasury, the cultivators all had panicked looks in their eyes as they shouted one after another. However, King Tianyan ignored them. How terrifying would it be when a half-step noble realm expert unleashed his full power? In almost an instant, countless miserable cries were heard. Dozens of warriors were all killed by King Tianyan. The wretched cries and the horrifying scene caused the faces of the cultivators outside the longevity treasury to sink sharply. Incomparable looks of dread appeared on their faces. Could it be that there's a ghost in the longevity treasury? King Tianyan has been possessed by a ghost. There really is a ghost. Look at King Tianyan. At that moment, everyone saw King Tianyan in the longevity treasury. His face was filled with a strange expression. His gaze was very strange as he muttered something. No one knew what he was saying. Suddenly, a sharp dagger appeared in King Tianyan's hand. He slashed at his own arm. Puff. Blood spurted out. Tianyan Wang's arm was directly chopped off by him, followed by his legs. Tianyan Wang's 5 viscera and 6 bowels were all cut open by him. The scene was extremely terrifying. Crunch! Crunch! King Tianyan grabbed his arms and legs and began to chew. He even ate his organs. Chapter 366. There was a deathly silence. Everyone was stunned. Their eyes were filled with horror and disbelief. The longevity treasury seemed to have turned into a land that devoured living beings. Everyone's scalps began to tingle. At this moment, the wordless heavenly book in Ling Zhao's sea of consciousness buzzed. A mysterious fluctuation spread out, and Ling Zhao's eyes instantly became clear. It's actually him? Ling Zhao's body trembled. The scene in his eyes had completely changed. In the eyes of others, Tianyan had personally killed those warriors and chopped off his own limbs to chew on him. In Ling Zhao's eyes, the longevity treasury was covered in a layer of black light. Countless mysterious roots stretched out from the ground and pierced through Tianyan, devouring his flesh and blood. Tianyan was crying for help. His eyes were filled with pain, but no one could hear him. The illusory demonic ancient tree. I didn't expect the illusory demonic ancient tree to really exist in this world. Ling Xiao screamed in his heart. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. However, he hid his expression well, and didn't reveal the slightest flaw. He finally understood why even the old goat couldn't see through the longevity treasury. This wasn't the longevity treasury at all. It was an illusion created by the illusory demonic ancient tree. Ling Xiao had seen the illusory demonic ancient tree in ancient books. It was said that the illusory demonic ancient tree had appeared 1,000,000 years ago. This kind of ancient tree was extremely terrifying. It could create an extremely powerful illusion that could pull people into it and make them kill each other. Moreover, the ancient tree would devour their flesh, blood and soul. The ancient books had recorded that an illusory demonic ancient tree had appeared 1,000,000 years ago. It was 1,000,000 miles tall, and almost all the living beings on the War God continent were trapped in an illusion. It killed hundreds of millions and created an endless amount of blood. If the War God hadn't appeared at that time, and used his terrifying combat strength to destroy the illusory demonic ancient tree, the entire War God continent would have become a land of death. Is the illusory demonic ancient tree related to the extraterrestrial demons? Thoughts raced through Ling Zhao's mind. He could sense a mysterious aura spreading out from void space. It was capable of silently seeping into everyone's souls, causing them to fall into an illusion. They all believed that they were looking at the longevity treasury. There was no illusory demonic ancient tree in the longevity secret realm 10,000 years ago. The only possibility was that it had something to do with the extraterrestrial demons. In Ling Zhao's eyes, the so-called longevity treasury was actually a black flower that exuded a boundless evil aura. And around the flower, countless roots shot out, piercing through Tianyan and the surrounding warriors, beginning to devour their flesh and souls. What shocked Ling Xiao the most was that black demonic flowers began to bloom in the valley, and their roots began to extend toward the crowd. At this time, all the passageways in the valley were sealed. Even if they wanted to go out, they couldn't. What should we do? Ling Xiao's mind spun rapidly. Although the blooming speed of the devil flowers was very slow, there was no guarantee that if Ling Xiao did anything, he would instantly enrage them. That stone palace? Is there a way to resolve it? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He whispered to the old goat and phoenix lady, "Don't speak. Keep calm. It's enough to know that our current situation is very dangerous. Follow me slowly." The old goat and phoenix lady's eyes flashed. Although they were very confused, they still followed Ling Xiao quietly. Beside the longevity treasury was a very ancient-looking stone temple. It was covered in dust, but Ling Xiao could sense a mysterious aura coming from the stone temple. If the illusory demonic ancient tree is related to the extraterrestrial demons, it should have been sealed 10,000 years ago. Perhaps this stone palace is the place of the seal. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he led the old goat and phoenix lady into the palace. The palace looked very spacious. There was only a mysterious array on the ground, and a mysterious seal was carved in the position of the Big Dipper. 7-star chaotic heaven array? He really did escape from the sealing formation. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed coldly. He saw that one of the stars in the seal had exploded. Only 6 stars were rotating, and there was an extremely evil aura coming from below. The 7-star chaotic heaven grand array was a grand array created by Supreme Being experts to draw upon the divine power of the Big Dipper to suppress powerful demonic creatures. Ling Xiao could see that the astral energy within the 7-star chaotic heaven grand array was already very thin. The black demonic aura below was surging and constantly attacking the array, as if it would break out at any time. Buzz! Ling Xiao slapped the old goat and phoenix lady. The wordless heavenly book's mysterious waves spread and pulled them out of the illusion. Ling Xiao then told them what he knew. What? It's the illusory demonic ancient tree? No wonder even I couldn't see through it. It's this kind of thing. The old goat was shocked. Obviously, he had heard of the illusory demonic ancient tree and knew how terrifying it was. Ling Xiao, the heart of the illusory demonic ancient tree is good stuff. Not only can it increase mental strength, but it can also heal Dao injuries. Why don't we kill this illusory demonic ancient tree and take out its heart? The old goat was only shocked for a moment before his eyes began to shine. He shook his head and wagged his tail as he walked up to Ling Xiao and sent him a message with a grin. The heart of the illusory demonic ancient tree has such a magical effect? Why didn't I know about it? Ling Xiao was stunned and a trace of suspicion appeared in his eyes. Old goat, are you trying to trick me? Let me tell you, although this illusory demonic ancient tree is only a seedling, it's not something we can touch. Do you really want to die? The old goat looked at Ling Xiao with disdain and said, "You're the disciple of the devouring Sky Supreme. Are you afraid of a tree? Let me tell you, others may not be able to deal with the illusory demonic ancient tree, but it's definitely not our match. The devouring sky secret skill is the illusory demonic ancient tree's nemesis. When I release the illusory demonic ancient tree, as long as you can resist the illusion released by it for a moment, I'll be able to suck it dry." Devour the illusory demonic ancient tree? Ling Xiao was shocked by the old goat's idea. This old bastard really doesn't want to live anymore. Although Ling Xiao guessed that the illusory demonic ancient tree in the 7-star Chaos Heaven Grand Array was only a seedling and couldn't even be considered to be in its growth period. Who knew what would be released? If it was in its growth period, then even a monarch realm expert would die without a doubt, let alone Ling Xiao and the old goat. However, Ling Xiao was slightly tempted. If he could really devour the illusory demonic ancient tree, then the rewards would be absolutely shocking. Great risks were often accompanied by great rewards. Chapter 367. The illusory demon ancient tree's greatest strength was its ability to create illusions. Its own strength was not very strong. In its infancy, the illusory demon ancient tree was equivalent to a celestial realm expert. However, even a noble realm expert could not break free from the illusions it created. Once the illusory demon ancient tree entered its growth period, the illusions it created could even kill a monarch realm expert. As for a mature illusory demon ancient tree, even a supreme being would definitely die. The illusions that filled the world and caused endless slaughter had only appeared 1,000,000 years ago. Although Ling Xiao guessed that the illusory demon ancient tree was in its infancy, he could not be sure. If it really was a growing illusory demon ancient tree, then it would be very troublesome. At this moment, black demonic flowers were everywhere in the valley. They emitted a strong aura, causing people to be immersed in the illusions created by the illusory demon ancient tree, and unable to break free. Boom. The illusory demon ancient tree in the 7 stars turbid heaven formation seemed to have swallowed enough flesh and blood, and began to boil. Endless demonic qi invaded the 7 stars turbid heaven formation. The demonic qi was dark and evil. It contained an aura that made people feel disgusted and afraid from the depths of their souls. Boom. The 7 stars turbid heaven formation began to tremble violently. The star power contained in it was extremely thin to begin with. At this moment, another star exploded. Oh no! The illusory demon ancient tree has swallowed the flesh and blood of warriors, and is beginning to evolve into its growth period. Ling Xiao's expression changed. He no longer cared about the old goat's crazy idea. The most important thing now was to seal the illusory demon ancient tree. Powerful innate gang qi spread out from Ling Xiao's body. He formed a seal with his hands and stepped forward. The stars in the sky seemed to light up. Dazzling light began to fall and faintly intertwined with the 7 stars turbid heaven formation below. With Ling Xiao's current cultivation, although he was unable to set up the 7 stars turbid heaven formation, he could draw on the divine power of the Big Dipper to temporarily strengthen the formation. Little girl, let's protect Ling Xiao. This illusory demon ancient tree is very strange. Who knows what kind of trouble it will cause? The old goat solemnly looked at the Phoenix Maiden. The Phoenix Maiden subconsciously wanted to refuse, but after seeing the look in the old goat's eyes, she nodded and said, "Don't worry, Ling Xiao hasn't imparted the true Phoenix mystic technique to me yet. Whoever dares to touch him is going against me." Rumble. As if it sensed that Ling Xiao wanted to reinforce the formation, the illusory demonic tree below became enraged. Monstrous demonic qi surged out, surging towards Ling Xiao through the illusory demonic tree. At the same time, the strange presence that could pull people into illusions enveloped Ling Xiao, the old goat, and the Phoenix Maiden. However, with the aura of the wordless heavenly book, the illusions created by the illusory fiend ancient tree could not do anything to Ling Xiao and the other two. The monstrous demonic qi was dark and evil. It turned into a huge demonic face and pounced towards Ling Xiao. As expected, it has something to do with the extraterrestrial demons. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. The black demonic qi was exactly the same as the strange black fog in the extraterrestrial demon's body. The wordless heavenly book shone, and the demonic qi that rushed over was immediately refined. Boom. No matter how the illusory demonic ancient tree stirred up trouble and raged, its 2 major methods had no effect on Ling Xiao. On the contrary, the power of the stars in the sky became more and more resplendent, strengthening the 7 stars turbid heaven array below. Rumble. At this moment, the demonic flowers in the valley began to tremble violently. The demonic flowers were the flowers of the illusory fiend ancient tree, and they contained an incomparably majestic illusory power. All of a sudden they all exploded. Countless black fog surged. It was invisible and formless, and it silently integrated into the bodies of the warriors. Everyone's eyes flickered with a trace of black light, and their gazes instantly fell on Ling Xiao. "Ling Xiao, what are you doing? Stop it!" Everyone cried out in surprise, looking at Ling Xiao with eyes full of greed and anger. Everyone watched as Ling Xiao stood within the longevity treasure vault. Surprisingly, he did not appear affected in the slightest. One by one, Ling Xiao kept the surrounding worldly treasures, spiritual pills and formidable divine weapons into his storage-type magic treasure. Ling Xiao, the treasures in the longevity's treasury belong to everyone. If you don't want to die, Hurry up and hand them over. The divine reflection crown prince looked at Ling Xiao coldly. Everyone was extremely shocked. Even Tianyan King had died in the longevity's treasury. How could Ling Xiao enter the longevity's treasury unscathed? The precious treasures made everyone's eyes widen. The divine reflection crown prince is right. Ling Xiao, hurry up and hand over the treasures. Ling Xiao, do you want to be enemies with so many of us? Brothers, why waste time talking to him? Let's just kill him, and the treasures in the longevity's treasury will be ours. Everyone surrounded Ling Xiao, their eyes filled with greed and murderous intent. Oh no! It's that damned illusory fiend Ancient Tree's doing. The old goat's eyes flashed, and his eyes were filled with anger. Ling Xiao wanted to reseal the illusory fiend Ancient Tree, which naturally caused the illusory fiend Ancient Tree to resist. It pulled everyone into the illusion, creating the illusion that Ling Xiao wanted to take the longevity's treasury for himself. Most importantly, everyone believed it to be true. Everyone calm down. What you're seeing is not real. There's an illusory fiend Ancient Tree in this valley that can create illusions. Everyone saw that the longevity's treasury was created by the illusory fiend Ancient Tree. Its purpose is to make everyone kill each other. Phoenix Maiden shouted at the crowd. Her eyes were filled with anxiety. Currently, Ling Xiao was reinforcing the 7 stars turbid heaven array, and could not spare any time. At this moment, if everyone was caught in the illusion and charged forward recklessly, they would really be in danger. Illusory fiend Ancient Tree? Phoenix Maiden, this joke is not funny at all. Could it be that all of us here have been confused by the illusion? Get out of the way. I only want to kill Ling Xiao. It has nothing to do with you. Mo Kong stood out. His eyes were cold and filled with icy killing intent. His voice revealed a kind of decisiveness. He was very angry. Phoenix Maiden had actually made up a lie about the illusory fiend Ancient Tree for Ling Xiao. Mo Kong did not believe that the so-called illusory fiend Ancient Tree could trap so many people and create an impeccable illusion. Little girl, there's no need to explain to them. They're a group of frogs at the bottom of a well. How could they know about the existence of the illusory fiend Ancient Tree? This emperor wants to see who dares to take a step forward. One who comes, this emperor will kill one. The old goat's eyes revealed a trace of coldness as he said arrogantly. In the end, after hearing the old goat's words, everyone surrounded the old goat, Ling Xiao and Phoenix Maiden. Their eyes were filled with greed. At this moment, Ling Xiao, who was reinforcing the 7 stars turbid heaven array, also revealed a trace of cold light in his eyes. Wasn't reinforcing the 7 stars turbid heaven array to save their lives? If the illusory fiend Ancient Tree really broke free, everyone here would die. Chapter 368. Mo Kong, you bastard. If you want to kill Ling Xiao, you'll have to do it over my dead body. Phoenix Girl said angrily. She exuded a powerful aura as flames rose from her body. Mo Kong's eyes darkened as he looked at Ling Xiao with murderous intent. Phoenix Girl, since you want to protect this brat, I'll kill him first. Boom. The heavenly halberd in Mo Kong's hand exuded a murderous aura. Demonic light filled the air as it rose into the air and slashed down at Ling Xiao. Mo Kong's heart was burning with anger. The more Phoenix Girl wanted to protect Ling Xiao, the more Mo Kong's murderous intent was stimulated. Mo Kong, you dare? The flames on Phoenix Girl's body rose as a cold light flashed in her eyes. Suddenly, a red ancient sword appeared in her hand. It looked gorgeous and had mysterious patterns flowing on it. The ancient sword flew towards the heavenly halberd as if a vermilion bird had risen into the air, emitting a blazing light. Vermilion bird true technique? Ha ha ha. Phoenix Girl, you're attacking me for a pretty boy? He'll definitely die today. Mo Kong laughed in anger. Phoenix Girl had used the full power of the vermilion bird true technique for Ling Xiao, which made him jealous and angry. Bang! The heavenly halberd and the red ancient sword collided in the air as a bright light exploded. Mo Kong was like a demon god as he rose into the air. Demonic chi surged from his body and he looked very wild. He wanted to go around Phoenix Girl and attack Ling Xiao, but he was blocked by Phoenix Girl every time. The battle between the two became more and more intense. If we kill Ling Xiao, the longevity treasury will be ours. Kill. Everyone couldn't help but charge at Ling Xiao with red eyes. Although most of the people in this group were in the Grandmaster realm, there were also more than a dozen in the Celestial realm. One of the elders in particular looked sinister, and his eyes were like poisonous snakes. He was actually half a step away from the noble plane. He was an elder of the Terminator demon sect who was supposed to protect Mo Kong. Now that he saw that the longevity treasury had fallen into Ling Xiao's hands, he also attacked Ling Xiao. A bunch of shameless people. This emperor wants to see what kind of ability you have. The old mountain goat was infuriated. Seeing everyone rushing towards it and Ling Xiao, it roared and opened its mouth to spit out a ball of bright light. Boom. It was as if a huge golden cauldron had appeared in the void. Hundreds of millions of sword rays shot out from it, and fell on the crowd. The sword chi was unparalleled, piercing through everything. Those grandmasters didn't even have the chance to make a sound before the sword chi pierced through their foreheads and killed them. As for the Celestial Realm cultivators, they all had protective treasures, so they were not afraid of the old goat's group attack. They all blocked the sword light and charged at Ling Xiao. Scram. The old goat's blood energy was torrential. It stomped forward with its hooves, as if a gigantic mountain was descending from the sky. It contained a peerless divine force. Crack. Suddenly, a few people's arms were broken by the old goat's kick, and they turned into a bloody mist. They screamed and flew backward. However, the old goat's ferocity did not frighten the crowd. Instead, more and more experts rushed towards Ling Xiao and the old goat. After all, the old goat's Dao injury had not fully recovered. Under the siege of so many people, it still had to pay attention to Ling Xiao behind it. It was now at a disadvantage. Boom. There were several tall and sturdy men dressed in black, holding black war blades. Their gazes were incomparably cold. They were all celestial tier experts. Black demonic chi flowed between them, faintly forming a mysterious battle array. The old goat was instantly trapped by them. The sinister-looking half-noble realm cultivator freed himself and slapped towards Ling Xiao. The slap contained an aura of destruction and was extremely fast. At this moment, Ling Xiao was shrouded in astral energy and was trying his best to operate the 7 stars turbid heaven array. How could he dodge this slap? Boom. The elder's slap shattered the endless starlight and landed directly on Ling Xiao's back. A monstrous demonic chi of destruction surged into Ling Xiao's body. Although Ling Xiao's physical strength was extremely strong, even comparable to that of an ancient ferocious beast, it was still difficult for him to withstand the attack of a half-noble realm cultivator. His face instantly became extremely pale. He spat out a mouthful of blood and flew out of the 7 stars turbid heaven array. Ling Xiao. The Phoenix girl's expression changed, and her eyes were filled with worry. Phoenix girl, Ling Xiao is dead. No one can save him. Elder Lu, kill Ling Xiao. Mo Kong's eyes were filled with murderous intent as he shouted at the elder in the distance. His voice was bone-chilling. Young master, don't worry. Ling Xiao is dead for sure. Elder Lu smiled coldly, and his eyes were filled with cruelty. After being hit by his slap, no matter how talented Ling Xiao was, he was severely injured and on the verge of death. As long as Elder Lu gave him another slap, Ling Xiao would be dead. Cough cough. Ling Xiao slowly stood up, feeling as if his internal organs were about to shatter. His heart was filled with a bitter smile. He had finally wanted to be a hero for once, wanting to seal the great 7 stars turbid heaven array to save everyone's lives. In the end, he had been interrupted. It was not easy to be a hero. In that case, there was no need to seal the illusory demonic ancient tree. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. He looked at Elder Lu in the distance and said, "Very well. Since you don't believe in the existence of the illusory demonic ancient tree, there is no need for me to seal it. Come out, illusory demonic ancient tree." Ling Xiao's expression was cold. Congenital gang qi erupted from his body as he punched the 7 stars turbid heaven array below. Elder Lu's expression changed as a bad premonition arose in his heart. He hurriedly shouted, "Ling Xiao, what are you trying to do? Stop. It's too late." Ling Xiao smiled faintly. The trace of blood at the corner of his mouth seemed to be filled with mockery. Boom. The 7 stars turbid heaven array was instantly shattered by Ling Xiao's punch. A dark and evil aura soared into the sky, and the earth began to tremble violently. The sky shook, the mountains trembled, and the earth cracked open. Strange demon chi filled the air, and countless vines rushed out from the cracks, emitting a ferocious evil chi. They pierced through the air towards everyone. The illusory demonic ancient tree was born. It was as if the birth of the illusory demonic ancient tree had caused the laws of heaven and earth to become chaotic. The illusion created by the illusory demonic ancient tree was instantly shattered. Everyone shuddered. The longevity treasury was no longer in front of them. There was only endless demon chi gushing out from the ground. Countless vines were like pythons, evil and cold as they rushed towards everyone. The longevity treasure vault is not real? Ling Xiao was right. Have we really fallen into an illusion? Everyone immediately understood what was going on, and their faces instantly turned ugly. Puff, puff, puff. At that moment, more than 10 warriors were caught off guard and their bodies were pierced by the vines. They screamed and lost their lives. Chapter 369. What? Mo Kong, the Divine Radiance Crown Prince, and the others' expressions instantly turned ugly. At this moment, there was no longer any longevity treasury in front of them. Black vines were everywhere. They were like poisonous snakes that stretched out from the ground, emitting a cold and evil aura. Black demonic aura surged in all directions as a bottomless demonic hole appeared on the ground. The vines came from the demonic hole, containing unparalleled power. Not only the experts of the Grandmaster realm, but even the experts of the celestial realm were caught off guard. They were pierced through by the vines and began to shrivel at a speed visible to the naked eye. Accompanied by miserable howls, their flesh and soul were all devoured by the vines. Ling Xiao, you deserve to die. Mo Kong's eyes were filled with rage and killing intent. He had already realized that Ling Xiao had broken the array that sealed the illusory demonic ancient tree, causing it to erupt completely. The vines that appeared now were most likely just branches of the illusory demonic ancient tree. The illusory demonic ancient tree's body had not yet appeared, and it was already so terrifying. If the real illusory demonic ancient tree appeared, what kind of scene would it be? A bunch of lowly people. I told you before that this was an illusion created by the illusory demonic ancient tree. You didn't believe me, and now you're blaming us? The old goat's eyes were filled with disdain as he spoke coldly. Ling Xiao, you're dead. My great flood ancient kingdom and the Terminator demon sect will send out a 10,000-mile kill order. No one can save you. Just wait for your death. The Divine Radiance Crown Prince's eyes were also filled with shock and anger. The battle blade in his hand was unparalleled, but it could only leave a small cut on the vines. It was simply impossible to cut them apart. On the contrary, the vines were increasing in number, causing the Divine Radiance Crown Prince and the old servant behind him to be suppressed. The space around them was getting smaller and smaller. His heart was filled with incomparable fear, and his hatred for Ling Xiao had reached the extreme. All of this was caused by Ling Xiao. If it wasn't for Ling Xiao, how could the illusory demonic ancient tree have escaped? However, he had never thought that if they hadn't been forced to attack Ling Xiao after being tempted by the illusory demonic ancient tree, Ling Xiao would probably have sealed the illusory demonic ancient tree again. Puff, puff, puff. Screams of agony rang out one after another. After blocking for a moment, the cultivators were pierced through and exploded in the void, turning into a bloody mist that was devoured by the strange vines. Demonic chi billowed in all directions, and the chilly wind howled angrily. It was as if the place had turned into an Azura hell. That's not right. Why isn't the phantom fiend ancient tree attacking Ling Xiao? Someone cried out in surprise. They saw Ling Xiao, the old goat, and Phoenix Girl standing together. The towering vines seemed to have purposely avoided the three of them and attacked everyone. Bastards. They must have some kind of treasure that can resist the illusion fiend ancient tree. Kill them. The killing intent in Mo Kong's eyes burned fiercely. He leaped forward, and the halberd in his hand contained an unparalleled sharpness. He destroyed the dozen vines in front of him and led the experts of the Terminator Demon sect to attack Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, hand over the treasures on you. Otherwise, even if we die, we'll drag you down with us. The Godshine Crown Prince roared as well. He blocked the vines as he charged towards Ling Xiao. I've never seen such a stupid person. You're about to die and you still dare to covet the treasures? Kid, what should we do? The old goat sneered and glanced at Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, and a hint of madness flashed in his eyes. Old goat, didn't you say we're going to do something big? Then let's go crazy for once and devour this illusion fiend ancient tree. Good kid, I knew you were going to do something big. The old goat was overjoyed and beamed with joy. Devour the illusion fiend ancient tree? Are you crazy? If you want to die, go ahead. I'm not going to play with you. Phoenix Girl shrieked, her eyes filled with disbelief. She looked at Ling Xiao and the old goat as if she was looking at a pair of lunatics. These two guys really didn't want to live anymore. They actually wanted the illusion fiend ancient tree. If you stay outside, you'll definitely die. Don't worry, I won't die. Ling Xiao naturally wouldn't let Phoenix Girl leave. He chuckled and hugged Phoenix Girl without any explanation. The Phoenix Girl's skin was as smooth as silk, and her entire body emitted a delicate fragrance. Her slender thighs and perky breasts were pressed tightly against Ling Xiao's chest, emitting a temptation that made one's blood boil. Phoenix Girl's body stiffened. She could smell the masculine aura from Ling Xiao's body, and her body couldn't help but soften. However, she immediately shrieked, Ling Xiao, you bastard, let me go. Boom. Phoenix Girl's body burned with flames as she tried to escape from Ling Xiao's embrace. However, how terrifying was Ling Xiao's physical strength. His arm was like an iron clamp as he hugged Phoenix Girl tightly in his embrace. His other hand slapped her but hard. Listen to me, don't mess around. Phoenix Girl's face instantly turned red. She gritted her teeth and glared at Ling Xiao. I'll bite you to death. After saying that, she leaned on Ling Xiao's shoulder and bit down hard. A heart-wrenching pain assaulted Ling Xiao, and he couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. This girl's silver teeth were really powerful. However, when Mo Kong saw Ling Xiao and Phoenix Maiden's actions, he was instantly enraged. He roared, Ling Xiao, you despicable and shameless fellow. Let go of my woman. Phoenix Girl's face stiffened. She immediately said to Mo Kong in embarrassment and anger, Mo Kong, watch your mouth. I have nothing to do with you. Rumble. Mo Kong's heavenly halberd contained a violent killing intent. It was overflowing with sharpness as if it could destroy the void. It slashed down towards Ling Xiao. Mo Kong, enjoy yourself. I'm not going to play with you anymore. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and leaped up. He rode on the old goat and jumped into the demonic hole that was spewing out black light. What? Is this brat courting death? Mo Kong and the Divine Radiance Crown Prince's eyes were filled with disbelief as they involuntarily cried out. They couldn't understand Ling Xiao's actions. The demonic hole spewed out black demonic qi, and the body of the illusion demonic ancient tree must be inside. Ling Xiao jumping in like this was tantamount to suicide. Don't worry about that. Let's kill our way out. The vines covered the sky and enveloped the two of them. Mo Kong and the Crown Prince's expressions changed. They didn't have time to think too much as they rushed out to kill their way out. Rumble. Demonic light surged as a large number of experts fell. Their blood dyed the sky red, and they turned into nutrients for the illusion demonic ancient tree. Mo Kong, the Crown Prince, and the others fought with all their might. In the end, Elder Liu, who was half a step away from the noble plane, burned all of his essence blood and exploded with unparalleled noble plane divine power. Only then did he manage to escape with Mo Kong and the Crown Prince. Chapter 370. Demonic Qi billowed and the creepy vines grew in number, spreading in all directions. However, there was a group of experts in black robes in the midst of the demonic Qi. They exuded a cold aura, and their eyes were cold. The leader was the black-robed youth from the underworld sect. His eyes were demonic, and he was surrounded by a black light. The creepy vines seemed to avoid them after being illuminated by the light. Master Wu Dao, The seal of the illusory demonic ancient tree has been broken. Our mission is complete. Next, we will fight for the treasure land at the core of the mystery land of longevity. There was an old man behind the black-robed youth. His voice was old and hoarse. The seal of the illusory demonic ancient tree has been broken. However, I can't see through Ling Xiao. Since he dared to enter the demonic cave, he's dead for sure, Wu Dao said flatly. He looked at the demonic cave in the distance with a demonic light flickering in his eyes. He was shocked that Ling Xiao had jumped into the demonic cave. He knew better than anyone what was in the demonic cave. Even a noble realm expert would die if he jumped into the demonic cave, let alone Ling Xiao. He's just a kid who doesn't know what's good for him. Master Wu Dao, our top priority is to fight for the inheritance in the core. If you can obtain the inheritance of the sky-devouring supreme, it will only be a matter of time before you dominate the underworld sect and dominate the 8 Desolation region. The hoarse voice sounded behind Wu Dao. Uncle Ghost, don't worry. The inheritance of the sky-devouring supreme is mine. No one can take it away from me. Wu Dao smiled faintly. The corners of his mouth curled into a sinister smile. Buzz. A black light flashed and Wu Dao and the experts from the underworld sect disappeared from the valley. What happened in the Antiquity Age quickly spread throughout the mystery land of longevity and shocked everyone. The so-called longevity treasury was an illusion created by the illusory demonic ancient tree. It created a trap that swallowed countless warriors. In the end, thousands of people died in the illusory demonic ancient tree. Only Mo Kong, the Shenzhou crown prince, and a half-step noble realm expert escaped. The illusory demonic ancient tree? What's that? Even King Tian Yin could not see through the illusion he created, and he even died in such a miserable manner? Some people were shocked and felt lucky that they were too far away from the longevity treasury. Otherwise, they would have become nourishment for the illusory demonic ancient tree. Tianyin King is the 8 Desolation region. The illusory demonic ancient tree. In my opinion, even a noble realm expert would find it difficult to protect himself if he was entangled by the illusory demon ancient tree. Everyone was talking about the phantom fiend ancient tree, and their faces changed when they talked about it. They all avoided the valley where the phantom fiend ancient tree was. I heard that Ling Xiao and Phoenix Maiden were killed by the illusory demonic ancient tree. Edition of Huang, of the Ling Supreme Heavens. She must have been implicated by Ling Xiao. My goddess. She's a beauty. I heard that Ling Xiao was bewitched by the illusory demonic ancient tree. He destroyed the formation that sealed the illusory demonic ancient tree. That's why so many experts died. Ling Xiao really deserves to die. Won't the sects that those martial artists belong to go crazy? That's right. I heard that many sects are looking for the disciples of the Chongsun sect. They want to kill all of them to avenge their disciples. Someone heard from Mo Kong and the Shenzhou crown prince that Ling Xiao was bewitched by the illusory demonic ancient tree. He destroyed the formation that sealed the illusory demonic ancient tree. The sects of the martial artists who were killed by the illusory demon ancient tree vented their anger on the Chongqing sect that Ling Xiao was in. They searched everywhere for the Chongqing sect's disciples, wanting to take revenge. Even Mo Kong and the Shenzhou crown prince issued a bounty in the name of the Terminator demon sect and the Great Hong ancient kingdom. Killing a disciple of the Chongsun sect was worth 100,000 spiritual crystals. Killing an elder of the Chongsun sect was worth 500,000 spiritual crystals. Killing the sect leader of the Chongsun sect, Nangong Xian, was worth 1 million spiritual crystals. All the sects in the Chongsun secret territory went crazy. They treated the disciples of the Chongsun sect as treasures. They searched everywhere for the whereabouts of the Chongsun sect. In a desolate mountain, swoosh! A sharp sword radiance pierced through the glabella of more than 10 warriors, killing them all. Li Ling held an ancient sword in his hand. The sword radiance around him was pure and unparalleled. His eyes were filled with coldness. This is already the 9th batch. Do they really think that the Chongsun sect is a pushover? Nangong Xian, who had always been elegant, was also filled with anger. Many of the Chongsun sect's disciples were covered in blood. They were filled with killing intent. Their auras were cold. It was obvious that they had gone through a series of battles. I don't believe that young master will die. No matter who it is, they can't kill young master. Shui Wei was in a white dress. Her face was beautiful and her skin was as clear as jade. Her big eyes were filled with determination. She held a black long sword in her hand. There were drops of blood dripping from it. Although Shui Wei's face was pale, she held the sword tightly in her hand. In the past few days, Shui Wei had grown from a little girl who didn't even dare to kill a rabbit. She had grown rapidly. She kept killing beasts to train herself. Even a few of the people who came to question the Changsun sect had died under Shui Wei's sword. Everyone from the Changsun sect had solemn and furious looks on their faces. The atmosphere was a little tense. In the past few days, news of Ling Xiao and Phoenix Girl's death in the Illusion Demon Ancient Tree had spread. Many experts came to question the Changsun sect, and even set up traps to ambush them. They wanted to take the heads of the Changsun sect's disciples for rewards. The hearts of the Changsun sect members were getting heavier. Those who came to question the Changsun sect were getting stronger. Fortunately, Li Ling and the long-armed Ape King were there to help them persevere. Even so, there were still many people who were injured. They fought bloody battles all the way until they arrived at the desolate mountain range. I also believe that Ling Xiao is not dead. What we need to do now is to persevere. We need to preserve our strength and wait for Ling Xiao to return. Nangong Xian's gaze was calm as he scanned through the disciples of Changsun sect. Gradually, the disciples of Changsun sect calmed down. Sect leader is right. The Holy Sun's talent is unparalleled. I think it's Mo Kong and the God Illumination Crown Prince who are slandering the Holy Sun. Deng Yalan was a hardcore fan of Ling Xiao. He didn't believe Mo Kong and the God Illumination Crown Prince's words at all. We also believe in the Holy Sun. The Holy Sun will definitely return. Many of the Changsun sect's disciples were reinvigorated and their confidence was reignited. Chapter 371. Everyone, don't overthink it. The Ape King is the Holy Sun's spiritual beast and is connected to his soul. If the Holy Sun dies, the Ape King won't be able to live either. Therefore, the Holy Sun is definitely not dead. Li Ling also spoke up. He patted the Ape King beside him and looked at the crowd as he spoke slowly. After a few days of fighting, many disciples of the Changsun sect had been severely injured. They had crushed the Changsun token and teleported out. The remaining disciples of the Changsun sect were all extremely talented pro-disciples. There were only about 20 of them. These people were also the ones who had the most confidence in Ling Xiao. Boom. Right at this moment, a monstrous aura filled the air. Two figures appeared in the distant sky. One of them was a middle-aged man who looked elegant. He was wearing a robe with the sun, moon, and stars. His aura was ethereal and vast like the heavens and earth. There seemed to be the sun and moon floating in his eyes. Beside him was a burly middle-aged man in a black robe. Demonic chi filled the sky as if it could split the heavens and earth apart. He exuded a powerful explosive force and his aura was wild. It's the Yin Yang Lord and the Nirvana Lord? Li Ling, Nangong Xian and the rest were shocked. Their expressions turned solemn instantly. The Yin Yang Lord and the Nirvana Lord were the sect masters of the Sun and Moon Star sect, and the Nirvana Demon sect respectively. They had disappeared after entering the Changsun secret land. Why were they here? Humph. The Nirvana Lord snorted when he saw the members of the Changsun sect below him. The Nirvana Lord's snort was like thunder. It shook the eardrums of Nangong Xian, Li Ling, and the rest. Their faces turned pale instantly. Some of the weaker disciples even spat out a mouthful of blood and were severely injured. Nirvana Lord, you're a noble realm expert. How dare you attack the disciples of the Changsun sect? Aren't you afraid of losing your dignity? Nangong Xian's eyes were filled with anger as he looked at the Nirvana Lord in the sky. Interesting. A mere Grandmaster realm ant dares to speak to me in this manner. The Nirvana Lord's expression was cold. He looked at Nangong Xian as if he was looking at an ant. There was no emotion in his eyes. There seemed to be a black beam of light shooting out of his eyes towards Nangong Xian. It contained a terrifying sharpness. The martial way primordial spirit of a noble realm expert had gradually transcended the boundaries of a human. They had all sorts of incredible powers. The light in King of Nirvana's eyes contained a wisp of origin spirit power. He clearly wanted to teach Nangongxian a lesson. Boom. Nangongxian's expression changed. His body exuded a vast aura. Runes shot out from Nangongxian's eyes and collided with King of Nirvana's light beam. Sparks seemed to fill the air. You can actually block the power of my primordial spirit? Nirvana King's eyes flashed as he reached out a hand to grab Nangongxian. The eyes of Li Ling and the others were filled with anger. The Nirvana King treated them as if they were ants. He summoned them and sent them away as he pleased. Did he really think that he was a high and mighty deity? Li Ling's sword will was surging. The ancient sword in his hand emitted a sword radiance and slashed towards the Nirvana Lord. The long-armed ape king roared. His blood boiled. His huge fist was like a mountain as it blasted towards the Nirvana Lord. Ants will always be ants, the Nirvana Lord said indifferently. Then he slapped his huge palm down. The vast power of heaven and earth exploded. Terrifying airwaves swept across the land. Boom. Li Ling's cultivation was too weak. His unparalleled sword radiance was shattered by the Nirvana Lord's palm. He spat out a mouthful of blood as if he was struck by lightning. He was sent flying. The long-armed ape king was also sent flying by the Nirvana Lord's palm. He smashed into a mountain in the distance. The earth shook and the mountains shook. Sand and pebbles flew. Just one palm was enough to injure Li Ling, who was in the sky realm, and send the long-armed ape king, who was at the peak of the 6th stage, flying. The disciples of the Changsun sect sucked in a breath of cold air. Their eyes were filled with shock and anger. Such terrifying power made them despair. The Nirvana Lord was a powerful figure in the 8 Desolates region. Who could stop him? Boom. The Nirvana Lord's indifferent gaze fell on Nirvana Lord. He reached out his hand to grab Nirvana Lord again. Brother Nirvana, that's enough. You should have vented most of your anger. Let's get down to business. The Yin-Yang Lord, who was silent, smiled faintly. He reached out his hand and blocked the Nirvana Lord's attack. Like a spring breeze, the terrifying power of the palm was reduced to nothing. Brother Yin-Yang, because of that little bastard Ling Xiao, so many disciples of the Nirvana demon sect died in the hands of the illusory demonic ancient tree. These people from the Changsun sect should be buried with my disciples. However, I'll give you face and let them go for today. If they don't cooperate, then don't blame me for not showing mercy. The Nirvana Lord's face was cold. His voice exuded a chilling killing intent. The disciples of the Changsun sect were shocked. They felt uneasy. Brother Nirvana, you're magnanimous. Ling Xiao, the culprit, is dead. We'll let this matter rest. The Yin-Yang Lord smiled faintly and looked at Nirvana Lord and the others. I have something that I need your help with. Considering the relationship between our sects, I hope that you won't reject it. What is it? Nirvana Lord's eyes flashed as he asked flatly. Previously, Nangongxian still had hopes for the Sun Moon Star sect. He thought that with the relationship between the two sects, the Sun Moon Star sect would at least take care of the Longevity sect. However, outside the Longevity secret realm, Nangongxian saw through the hypocrisy of the Yin-Yang Lords when they tried to snatch Ling Zhao's Longevity Qi refining technique. Therefore, he did not have a good impression of the Sun Moon Star sect and the Yin-Yang Lord. Come with us. You'll know when you get there. Don't worry. We won't take your lives. The Yin-Yang Lord smiled. What if we don't agree? Nirvana Lord said slowly. Don't agree? Then you'll have to die. The Nirvana Lord sneered. His eyes flashed with intense killing intent. Nirvana Lord Li Ling and the others looked at each other. They were struggling. Although they had the Changsun token, they did not dare to use it in front of the Yin-Yang Lord and the Nirvana Lord. The two lords were unfathomable. Who knew if they could stop the Changsun token from being teleported? Everyone, it's not up to you. This is an urgent matter, so please come with me. The Yin-Yang Lord smiled faintly and waved his sleeve. Suddenly, a majestic force of heaven and earth surged and swept Nirvana Lord and the others up. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.